Hello and a warm welcome to Tug of War Mad Moon by WePlay. We are in day 2 of the playoffs and we are ready. Audience is ready, players are ready, my panelists are ready for the second day of playoffs. Lacoste, Cap, good morning, good afternoon. Ready for some Dota 2 action, Cap?
Yeah, very ready. We had an okay day yesterday.
Yeah.
There was not any like super close matches.
No.
And most of the matches I think win as expected. But, you know, it's Dota. There's always going to be, like, no matter what, you go through a tournament, no matter what kind of tournament it is, no matter how one-sided you think some of the matches are, there's always going to be that one match that surprises you. And maybe it'll be today.
Maybe.
This is what I'm looking for. I want to see some tier 5 items in action now. What? Why are you laughing? You don't like it?
Well, an even game doesn't necessarily
This
have
is what
to go
Dota's
now.
about, tier 5 items.
No, I mean, you want to see the comeback mechanic, and then maybe because of that one good item that you get that could change the whole game around.
I mean, let's hope it's going to happen today. Let's first talk a little bit more about yesterday, because our day did really be one-sided. We are actually seeing the schedule of today on your screen right now. We're going to kick it off with Bait versus NIGMA, and then both these teams are going to play again. Now the question is, will they be playing in the upper bracket, or will they be playing in the lower bracket? Secret's waiting in the upper bracket, Gambit is waiting for their opponent in the lower bracket. Should be an exciting day of Dota 2, and all of this, of course, comes together in that bracket. We here see Group A, the upper bracket, Team Secret coming out there as their top seed. We haven't seen them play since the first two virtually one-sided series. And yeah, they're seated in the upper bracket waiting for their opponents. Lacoste, what match are you looking forward to most today?
I think this is going to be the most even matchup of the day, looking how teams see.
What? You're getting some question marks on Cap?
Listen, I talked to Dendy and LeBron during the breakfast. They have something very special prepared. I'm not going to say what it is, but I hope they go for it. You know?
Listen, the last time we had information, inside information from a team that they were going to do something very special. It was it was a Techies game that was literally one of the most one-sided games I've ever seen. So hopefully Bait will be able to perform a little bit better.
Yeah, I think a bold statement that this will be the most even game of the day.
If they pull it off, it's going to be mind-blowing. I mean, if you compared B8, they're a new team, right?
Yeah.
But they played against Team Secret. They almost won against them. I don't think Team Secret was contested throughout the whole European major qualifiers. No one was even close to getting the game off them.
Yeah, they look pretty much untouchable most of the time. Yeah. So anybody that can make a close game against Secret, they definitely deserve some props right now.
But didn't they have the close game against Secret that was slightly experimental?
B8?
Yes. Where Nisha was playing IO and they had to basically wait till super late before they could actually come online.
Sometimes you're in a bad spot. You need to go late game to actually win the game because of the draft. The early stage did not go that well for them.
True.
But it shows the strength of B8 or Bait, whatever you want to call them.
That's true.
They're fine with both.
We did also see them play yesterday. Their game, it was the best of one though. I don't know how much we can read into that. I actually thought that our second series today was going to be probably the most even one, because I'm expecting Gambit have another shot against Bait. And maybe this time round it will be more even because it's the best of 3. But that would be our second series. But
nobody believes in the Curl magic? Nobody believes in the closest match being NIGMA versus Secret?
No.
Because that's what the matchup is going to be, of course, because NIGMA is probably going to stomp D8, but...
We'll see. I'm not going to reveal anything, but once you see it, Cap, it's going to be
mind-blowing. I mean, if we want to jump that far ahead to Secret and any opponent, is there any team at this tournament that could contest Secret for the top? We're getting distracted by the cyber draw behind us. Oh, not even behind us. It's in us too. I hope
the world, baby.
I hope this set makes it into Dota at some point.
Cyberpunk Drow Ranger?
Cyberpunk Drow is actually looking amazing right now.
I don't know, Shiver. That's a step too close to Cowboy Ursa.
Oh, no.
What team? What team could take it to? I mean, I legitimately think that NIGMA is probably one of the closest teams. Virtus Pro obviously would be the other one, seeing as they were the first team to make it into the upper bracket. I'm not sure how much faith I have in Virtus Pro when it comes to consistency right now, but we'll just have to see. I mean, like, it's a new-ish roster.
Do you have
so.
faith in NIGMA when we talk about consistency? They've been losing to Viking GG. I mean, that should not happen.
True.
I mean, they've been together for such a long time. They won a TI. They got second place at the last TI with the same squad. And now they can't even qualify to a minor.
That is exactly why. They're both inconsistent. But for me, VP are on their high end of inconsistency, right? While as NIGMA, they're at the lowest point where they can't even qualify for a minor. I could see that team bouncing back up and being able to, I don't know, they just seem a bit lost. And if there's any tournament to be able to find yourself, it's a chill one like WePlay. You know, where you get
I like that strategy. Once you drop, once you hit that rock bottom, it's the only way to go is up, you know?
Hey,
I
and
learned
all
this
the
from my AA meetings, Lacoste, you know? It's like, once you find your rock bottom, man, you hit that ground and bounce real hard.
all the teams still in can at least say they're not last. So, you know, you got that going for you.
Yeah.
And one of the teams that's last is a major contender. You know, Ninjas in Pajamas getting last at this tournament together with Infamous. So already every team that we're seeing from here on out, already a winner in a way, because they've already somehow beaten someone that's going to the major.
That's
besides Infamous, right?
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, all of the teams still in.
Oh.
So, yeah.
That's the most positive way to look at it. Pretty much everyone feels good about that, except for the teams sitting here that came to WePlay, played for one day, played 2 best-of-3s, and are now out.
Yeah.
Got smacked.
I don't know if, like Infamous, for example, I'm sure they're staying the entire time.
I mean, I would.
Nip at least could go home, you know?
Yeah, but Kiev is a really nice city.
It is.
And on top of that, this tournament, if you're going to be, like, all the players are also, of course, fans of Dota 2. Like, if you're going to be a fan of Dota 2 anywhere, this tournament is a great one to attend. Because just look at that stage where the discount Dr. Disrespect is
that
about
what you guys
ready.
have been calling him?
Well,
Discount Dr. Disrespect?
Well, he's basically, so there's this team of a makeup artist and, you know, wardrobe and all that. And he went there, they're like, I'm going to be stage host for this. This is my reference picture. And he gave a reference picture of Dr. Disrespect.
I saw him in the backstage. Man can talk really fast. He
yes.
was practicing. I don't know what he was saying, but it sounded good.
What? Why does he need to talk fast, though?
What?
As
I
a
don't know.
stage
I
host,
guess he was just practicing
Is that
for
a
some
skill
skit.
you wanted as stage host? And welcome, everybody. Now it's going to be going NIGMA versus Secret. Like, that doesn't sound like a good stage hosting.
Maybe he's
Maybe
gonna.
it's a warm-up. Maybe it's a warm-up.
Maybe he's gonna do some auctions on stage. In which case, he's nicely warmed up. But what do you think, Cap? Real mustache or not?
If that's a real mustache, it's a dirty one.
I can't guess if he's like 20 years old or like 55.
I think, you know, if you don't really want a stage host, this is the best kind of stage host if you just have to be one anyway, because nobody will recognize you when you're walking off stage. You take off your glasses and take off your mustache.
So you're saying it is fake?
It is fake. Yes,
okay.
I saw the mustache
There's
before it
something
went on the face.
It looked too. The hairs look too hairy. I don't know how else.
What the hairs look too hairy.
It looked like head hair, not facial.
I don't think many people can grow mustache like that if they were real, right?
All right,
They're
Team
too thick.
NIGMA taking the stage as the first team of this best of 3. You know what? NIGMA yesterday, you know, they rolled up. They were ready for their game. They had a lot of time to prepare. We had some technical delays, allowing NIGMA to have even more time to prepare for that steaming best of 1. And then in comes the steaming best of 1, and they are playing against techies, and they won in 22 minutes. And that was them done. Like, they played 22 minutes, and they could go back to the hotel. Today, they're at least going to have a better chance to show themselves and to play some actual Dota 2 against this squad. It is Bait. Newly formed, fresh faces. Well, actually, old probably pretty old school.
Yeah, some old faces in there for sure, with Dendi and Ghostic. Some old names there for sure.
Apart from Pio. Are you okay?
It's too loud. Yeah, I couldn't hear anything.
Lacoste is making funny faces at me the entire time. I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
It is very loud.
That's a classic mistake, Lacoste. You got to learn to turn that stuff down way before the show, because once the blaring music comes out, oh, look at that. That's an iconic scene right there.
Dendi versus Kuro, huh?
What is your impression? Do you like it? And then he said something really soft, but the crowd loves it. I couldn't understand.
The crowd love you, yeah? I hope so. It's very nice. So I wish you good luck and have fun.
He hopes for a very nice match. Good luck and have fun. And the interview with Dendi will be in Ukrainian, so we won't be able to understand.
В этой жизни.
Очень надеюсь на это.
He's talking about his team name. I could at least
Слушай, ну удивите, не знаю, возьми реально пикните.
It is Dendi's organization. They have not been doing too hot, but they did 2-0 infamous in the group stages.
I mean, at the end of the day, this is one of the fresh carcasses that Virtus Pro picked apart. So
Yeah, that is true.
you got to give them a little bit of time to
That is
recover
true.
from an injury like that.
Yeah.
They were ready to play with Kuman, but he got snatched like day before their boot camp, so they needed to find someone else.
Yeah, and Pio honestly looks like the weakest link for B8.
Yeah.
So maybe, maybe just more time, he'll be able to figure it out. As I understand his professional play, he doesn't have a wide berth of it, so maybe he just needs a little bit more time to be able to learn how to communicate, how to be able to play in game. But right now, he looks
He looks off, yeah.
looks
Every
real
single
bad.
time he's just farming one creep wave too much, staying away from his team. If you talk about the game against Gambit, where they won the laning stage and then everything just fell apart, there was no communication whatsoever. Either it was him dying all the time or a Baden on the other side of the map, and that should not happen. I know there's still a new team, a lot to learn. One of their players got stolen, but if they play like this, they can compete against the tier 2 teams that are in the CIS scene. But if they want to go higher, they need to step up.
Yeah, you've got your 1-2 punch. Every single team has a 1-2 punch. It's their 1 position, it's their 2 position, it's their safe lane carry, goes through, hard carries the game, and it's their mid who's going to be oftentimes creating the space.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's vice versa. Well, Dendi didn't look great either, right? Dendi, when he's playing the harder carry, doesn't look like he is at the end responsible for the win.
Yeah.
That Templar Assassin game from him was also really
At one point,
very
I just
farm heavy.
saw him being 0-1-1, 20 minutes in. I was like, what's going on? He was just AFK farming.
Yeah.
He needs to be more active. I think he needs to create space for Pio. Also, Pio65. I don't know how you feel about that name. If he added 4 number instead, maybe.
Yeah, of course,
plus
of course.
4. Yeah, I would be a bigger fan.
I mean, that is the sex number, indeed. You should always go for
nice.
that.
All right.
But I don't know, Dendi, it seems like he still kind of has the same playstyle where he looks most successful, where he's on aggressive, puck-like heroes, right?
Yes.
And his Mars looks sick, right? His puck looks really good.
Now,
And, and as a result, they picked it so many times.
That's true. Do you have any information regarding how vocal Dendi has to be for the rest of his team during a game? Because I can only imagine that, for example, when he was playing the Templar Assassin, how much of his time was he trying to play his role in the game, and how much of that game was he trying to micromanage the other 4?
I think that's the problem that a lot of these lower tier teams have when there's no captain that they respect. Dandy's probably calling a lot of the shots, but you want to have that from your position 5 or 4.
The only thing I know about their communication is apparently Pio is just really introverted and quiet and not very proactive with his communication. This is very much a pub style where something goes wrong and you want to talk about why that went wrong, whose fault is it, sort of thing, instead of focusing on what's next.
Well,
and
they can always blame
that's
someone
just a pub
else.
trait, right?
It's
With
never
being a
your
pro.
fault. That's how I approach problems.
Yeah.
How's it been working out for you? I mean, you're sitting on this desk over here rather than playing.
Well, I don't
Right.
know if that's an upgrade or a downgrade. Probably the way I'm playing right now, it's an upgrade.
Judging from the prize money that Lacoste has made, the talent gig is an upgrade.
Oh, it's a huge upgrade.
Me and you both, Lacoste. Me and you both.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the other squad. We see, I mean, in terms of pay grade, definitely the winner of Dota 2 scene, Kuroki, on our screens. And his squad, I mean, we're talking about Bates sometimes looking lost, and we're talking about NIGMA having maybe not the most consistent performance, but that, it feels real weird. Like, if there's some Dota fans that are like, or maybe not necessarily Dota fans, but esport fans that tune into TI and watch this squad, then Liquid, get second place. And they're, you know, looking through the games and through the tournaments that have been played over the last month, and they're like, well, what is this squad doing? Why can they not play at the same level as they did then? Like, what's missing? It's the exact same roster. And even though Dota has changed, Kuroki is a captain that is used to adapting to patches.
Yeah, he is, but I don't think they're adapting fast enough.
Yeah.
It always takes a bit more time than the other teams. Not sure how much pubs they play. I know Mind Control is a huge grinder, but you need to get ideas from somewhere. You don't necessarily have to invent stuff all the time. You just get idea from someone else, mold it. I love the strat that they have with IO Tiny plus Chen, whether it's carry IO. They pulled it off in major European qualifiers. Against the OG Seed. It was pretty much the same thing where it's 4 protect 1, and that's how they play. Like they have this hyper carry, either it's Medusa, either it's Tiny, and they group up. They have no cooldowns. They can fight all the time.
Yeah, I think that I would definitely agree with the just when they were on Liquid too. It was the same way, right? In the fact that they were slow to be able to be on top of patches.
Yeah.
And I think that's where like TI success is particularly notable, because you have a very stable patch. You've got a long time to be able to figure it out, and Kuro, as a captain, is able to mold his team and create an identity that they want to have for that tournament and enforces it on them. And they're able to all just come together and execute that vision, and so many times they've been able to place very successful at TI. So when it comes to this middle of the year area where we've got a fresh new patch and then multiple patches coming after that, the game is changing rapidly, this is where Kuro teams often just suffer. And, you know, I think that right now there are just some notable heroes that they have an idea that they think is good but is actually really unsuccessful, or vice versa, that there's some heroes that are just a little bit behind on. Like, I think a great example would be Timbersaw. In a weird way, I think Timbersaw is like one of the winning most heroes in this patch and the last patch. Very successful. But at the same time, when NIGMA picks up Timbersaw, you know it's not offlane. You notice that?
Yep.
It's not a mind control hero.
Yeah, but to your point, so far in this tournament, Timbersaw has 85% win rate. He is
85.
85.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have the that great of a sample because
True.
not many games were played throughout this tournament. Some of the bigger ones are Batrider, who's won 5 out of 5 games, Chen 4 out of 4, and surprisingly to me, Earthshaker 8 out of 10. Like, that's a pretty high win rate.
True. And you mentioned Chen, 4 out of 4 games won. 3 of those games are Kuroki's. So I would look to see that one again. We actually do have a draft in front of us. We've got Bait on the Radiant side, Enigma on the Dire side. And it is a best of 3, so we will see more out of these teams than what we saw yesterday. And I mostly also am curious to see how the teams adapt mid-series. But let's see their baseline. Let's see where they start off. That Chen is banned, as expected. Snapfire, Slardar, Nyx Assassin Puck, and Omni Knight banned as well, with the IO first pick.
I think this is, you look at those 3 bans from B8, right? Those are the heroes that Kuro was stuck on for the qualifiers. Every single chance they could, they would draft Snapfire, they would pick up Slardar first, they would second pick a Chen like all the time. And then this Io is another one of those heroes that NIGMA has been frequently grabbing and has not had the most success with it so far. They do have the advantage of being able to play it for both Miracle and GH, but I honestly feel like it always looks better on GH. I'm not sure if NIGMA is a carry IO team. At least from my perception anyway, just like sometimes they have games where they try and run it with Miracle and it doesn't look good.
No,
they are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Like they want to punish if you have any high cooldown ultis. Mars has one, but he can still fight even without the ulti, so it's not going to be that effective. But I like NIGMA's approach. I think B8, they should have been ready about this one, and they picked AA instantly against the IO, so they're going to stop any kind of healing. Mars could set things up pretty easily with his arena, follow it up globally from AA ulti.
But again, like B8, they probably knew exactly what was going to be picked here.
Yeah.
Right, based off of just history. And when you are that stubborn of a drafter, like many of these legendary captains are, right? You want to say, you know, Kuro's a stubborn drafter, but so is Puppey, right? Puppey's had that same trait. Well, if you are stubborn in your ideas of openers for draft and such, but you don't have the most complete hold on the game, you don't have the complete idea of what this patch is about, well, then your stubbornness can actually play against you. You become too predictable.
Yep.
And like later on, when he starts figuring out the patch a lot, then he understands every single step of the draft that's going to happen once he has these openers and is able to just, you know, dominate teams through a drafting advantage. But when you don't have that complete vision of a patch, then it's just a weakness.
Does that mean that even though we've seen NIGMA do well with the IO Tiny, we don't really like it?
No, I'm a big fan.
I mean, we still think it's good, right?
Yeah, a classic combo.
It is. Like, you can play extremely fast, go from lane to lane, always have ways to stop a split push, and they're not even banning out Pio's heroes. He loves to play his Phantom Lancer. They have a built-in cleave with Tiny's 3. He also plays Terrorblade a lot. I don't think they're afraid of these heroes at the moment.
I do like B8's opener, even though if it was anybody else, I would think this is kind of bad. You know, this is such a B8 hero, but like from the limited games I've seen from them being able to run a mid-Dendy Mars and then being able to have follow-up from their supports to lay damage into that. Their supports seem to be very offensive mindset.
Yep.
I don't know what it is, but they just don't seem to pick up like a whole lot of utility. It seems to be a larger focus on them just being able to output damage off of their course initiation.
Oh, look at that hand from GH. Man looks jacked.
Yeah.
Been hitting the gym.
Flexing those biceps and triceps, you know?
All right, so we have got the Mars coming out for Denny. That will be Denny's hero. We did have the Puck first phase banned to allow for that. They have run this tournament as well against Infamous, actually one of the games that they ended up winning. And other than the Puck, everything else that they played with that, well, almost everything else is still in the pool, but most notably the Timbersaw, they played with that one. And we mentioned it already, NIGMA might not be the most comfortable on the Timbersaw.
It's pretty much...
But Bait is. Ghostic is.
It's like 80% of the time it's a Weehaw hero, and then another like 19% of the time it's a Miracle hero, and then there's that 1% chance it's a Mind Control hero. And I think it's an insanely good offlane hero, right?
It is. I love this support duo from Bait. They have AA plus a Fisher, long-range initiation. This is what Gambit does. I don't know if they've taken this from their book, but pretty easy to set up ganks from really far away. You just need one hero who can be active, plus Earthshaker and, of course, the global AA ulti.
It's a nice way to be able to low commit, go for a kill, and simultaneously have like really good team fight off of this relocate in. Right, like you've got like two supports that output a lot of AoE damage and a core that has the ability to lock them down with the arena.
I want to see an offlaner that builds into pipe this game. You mentioned the magical damage from AA and Earthshaker, and they definitely need something like I wouldn't mind seeing a Baron.
Enchantress.
So an Enchantress pickup. which, you know, can go a lot of different positions. It actually can be a 3. It can be a 5 as well. Kuro can play it as sort of a Chen type role, which is where I'm going to assume it's going to be, especially drafted 3rd here. The Enchantress is, since they gave Enchant a bonus damage on that neutral creep, it's become the most value skill for Enchantress. Everyone thought the Impetus was going to be the way to be able to play Enchantress and just harassing people nonstop with that, but actually just maxing out Enchant and having a Satyr creep run up with an extra 60 damage, hitting people in the face, that's actually really powerful.
Also, a lot of people forget that it's a Dispel.
Yeah.
So right now they don't have anything they can Dispel, but during the mid game against certain carries and some abilities, it's extremely effective.
Yeah, I think there is the Timbersaw. I mean, you've got IO Tiny. Timbersaw has always been good against that combination. Then on top of that, you've got an Enchantress who is a hero that you want to be able to find ways to do damage without right-clicking her. Well, Timbersaw does that in spades, obviously.
How do you deal with Timbersaw? I think the only way pretty much here is get... they don't have a Spirit Vessel carrier. IO, he needs a lot of time to buy it. I'm a big fan of Ursa, I gotta say. Either Ursa or OD.
OD.
I
think so. OD is a hero that NIGMA has been kind of stuck on and hasn't been super successful. They had this great run where in the minor and then a lot of the major, they were picking up OD and they were dominating people with it. But the patch actually changed a bit. And the biggest reason, I think there's a lot of different reasons why OD is less successful now, but one of the biggest reasons, I think, is the offlane meta is different, right? You're no longer drafting Omni Knight Abaddon every single game, where OD is both good with those heroes and good against them. That sustain offlane meta was perfect for an OD who could, you know, just use his damage over time and his build-up to dominate, you know, Abaddons and make him disappear during his ultimate. Meanwhile, these protective heroes were also allowing him to play a lot more forward.
Even though he has this high cooldown ulti, he can still fight even without it. That's what I like about this hero. Now they have ways to deal with the Timbersaw. He can't be like that in your face. You need to stay away from him at the early levels, but once OD gets the levels, he can deal with him.
Yeah, I see a lot of sustain and saves on the side of NIGMA and not really any of that on the side of Bait. Is that something that you feel like they should be fixing with their last pick? Because right now, like, if Mars goes for his Arena of Blood, all OD needs to do is put that Mars in an Astral Imprisonment and nobody's going to die. And even if he does manage to catch someone in the Arena of Blood, Io is going to be in there to heal him. Enchantress is going to live for a very long time too. How is Bait going to solve these problems?
I'm not really sure, because they need like a really big win condition. You know, so Leshrac has traditionally been good against OD, but I think you need something that is better than that. One of the things that also happened, I think there's 3 things, right? The offlane meta changed. Yep. The faster cores started being picked after the major when the new patch came in. So these heroes that are just kind of like running up objectives, that actually abuses OD's timing. And then the last one is that lanes are less important than they were in the previous patch. Lanes were super important back then when it meant you could control outposts as a result. Bait. So for me, I think Bait, they're just missing a win condition that is relatively fast, because NIGMA will win this game past 25, 30 minutes.
Yeah, Bait is in a really bad spot right now. You have a matchup that you can't win. Whoever comes against OD is going to lose his lane. Either there's a Timbersaw or a Mars, so you have 2 cores. Also, they banned out Ember Spirit, which implies that they possibly think it's wide. It's an off-lane Tiny.
We've had GH play Tiny, but he's probably going to play the Io. We have Weeha Tiny and we have Miracle Tiny. So it's the Ember ban is a little questionable at the moment.
It's like side lane OD versus the Timber. I don't know.
I think you want to have OD in the mid lane though, and we're kind of looking for a mind control hero still. That's what I would imagine. Also, the way you guys are talking about what the last pick for Bait needs to be. If that last pick is going to be the win condition, that means PO is going to be the win condition. And we just talked at length about how PO is the weakest link in their lineup at the moment, and that is already a very scary place to start off your game with.
Yeah, from like an outsider's perspective, it's a scary thing. But at the end of the day, if you're inside the team, right, and you chose this guy to be, well, you chose him to be the replacement to Kuman, but you chose him to be on your team, right? You've got to believe in him. And setting him up with the last pick and having the win condition on him, that is kind of saying, like, hey, we believe in you to be able to win this game. And Oracle.
And Enchantress Core. Then.
Yeah, it's not a good Timbersaw game. Enchantress will get a lot of farm from position 3, pure damage from Impetus against Timbersaw. He won't be using those Timber Chains aggressively, especially also even defensively for some extra damage. And they need, you said win condition, I don't see that hero. Like, they need some hyper carry, because right now these 4 heroes are like all in on the early game. Yeah, you can set things up in the mid game once Earthshaker gets a Blink Dagger plus AA combo, and here it comes.
It's a PA. We haven't really seen PA this tournament, I believe. So that's at least the first one.
Well, if you look at it, right, you've got Enchantress and OD cores. They're the ones to be able to build MKB and both output their damage through right-clicking people. So there's that. You are still notoriously low mana hero. So you're going to be taking a lot of damage from Sanity's Eclipse. Yeah. That's a little problematic. You are susceptible to burst magic damage, which Tiny does have that, obviously. But it's a fast hero.
Yes, and you do always want to buy BKB on that hero anyway, so that will allow you to counter OD as well.
But there's no...
You have to get to that point.
Steroid for PA in this game. There's no Magnus, so she needs to have a really good laning stage to be effective. And this Oracle last pick, we don't see that too often, saving the position 5 pick for the last pick. It's going to give them another save on top of OD's Astral. I'm going to say NIGMA won this draft 80-20.
I definitely agree. Too much single target save. No way to end the game, by the way. Mars, PA, like neither one of those are high ground hitters. At best, you've got Roshan taking, but there's not a whole lot there to be happy about ending the game quickly against a lineup that is going to outscale you for sure.
All right, you guys are painting a very grim picture for Bait and all the Bait fans out there, and I am looking to hear from you guys who needs to do like amazing in order for Bait to still win this. 20% is not a whole lot of chance.
RNG. PA crit. This is what we're looking for.
That's what we need.
Wow, guys.
All right. Well, in the cold, harsh world of 30-20 or wherever we're at right now, apparently all we have is luck to lie upon.
All right. Well, I am hoping that our commentators can paint a better picture for Bait for this upcoming game in the first game of the best of 3. So let's head over to Gods and Kyle.
Well, Lacoste says RNG is what Bait need, and you guys are perhaps just as lucky as me. I get to cast with Kyle. It is my lucky day, Kyle. How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right, yeah. I'm hyped for some Dota. We got 2 legends on stage captaining their respective squads. I think we're going to see some style. I'm very upset that you've given away Wisp to a team with Kuroki on it, along with GH. I think this is a pretty poor decision, but maybe they've got a plan.
Yeah, we saw the Iotani yesterday in a game that I don't think you can read too much into that one. So we'll see just how good this Iotani opening is, something that NIGMA are going to go back to. We'll be hopping ourselves in the game soon. Do you feel strongly about NIGMA's draft over Bait?
Yes. It's more the timings. I know, as an example, Timbersaw is a counterpick to the Tiny and the Wisp, but if at 13 minutes the Tiny has 3 items, you know, you're not a real hero, actually, and you don't apply the same amount of tower pressure, and you can't farm as fast. That's the big key, is that NIGMA are just going to get so much more out of the map, because every minute that passes, they're farming so much more efficiently with this combo.
Thoughts on the new Tiny item build, the Gloves of Haste Quelling Blade?
Hey, why not?
Start with?
You know,
the fastest possible treads. You don't need regen when you have your Aya who buys the regen, I guess.
Yeah, it's remember back when we had that tri-lane versus a solo off-laner hiding in trees meta, and you'd have like snipers going safe lane, rushing Midas with gloves first, same deal. I don't mind that here because you have GH, he's got the headdress, so you've got 4 regen, Tiny effectively rocking 5, and then Tangos. No biggie.
Get some incredibly fast trades. We saw some insane record-setting farm on his Tiny last game. Definitely a game not to take too much away from, but we'll see how B8 can match up against. They're going to be in for a rough time. Even down bottom, you can see Pio, who didn't have the best day yesterday, already getting harassed down very low.
Yeah, this is Enchantress Oracle, two of the better harassing heroes just in Dota 2 right now. Specifically Enchantress, you can see just these level 1 impetus shots are so much damage.
Yeah, it does have that cooldown now, but not something you're worried too much about when you're laning. And mid lane?
This is the matchup I want to key on, because I think if anyone's going to win this game for Bait, it's going to be Dendi. This is his signature hero right now. I love watching him play Mars, and while sure, certain elements, maybe he doesn't read the map as well as he did back 10 years ago, but individual skill-wise, Dendi is still on top form, and this man can play the hell out of Mars.
Oh, we're going to see a gank coming in. The fissure block is there, and, well, you cannot spear into a fissure. I don't know if Dendi knew that one or not, but he does now.
It's all about the denial.
I didn't know that one, to be honest. Not a Mars player myself.
Because doesn't it affect Pango roll as a structure? Like you'll bounce off of it, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, because it's considered like a wall. It's not considered a wall.
This is the thing about Dota, because I get flamed for not knowing stuff half the time, but it's like Dota is literally just memorizing things.
Yes.
There's no mechanics, please. There's no rules to this. You just got to know what happens.
Yeah, he kind of hesitated, like, wait, do I spear him here or not? Maybe he just wanted to do the harass. Obviously, Dendi plays a lot of Mars. He probably does know how that mechanic works. Getting the harass in on Weeha with a guaranteed stun setup is some good damage that is going to force that regen out.
Yeah.
Down bottom, Mind Control getting brought low, and this could be a good kill with the Fissure coming in, but they do lose the AA. Mind Control not getting the experience for it, but does get a kill. First blood going the way of PA.
That's top lane.
Ooh, Miracle getting very low. We'll need that IO to come and heal him on up. And not really a lane that's going to pressure Timbersaw much at all.
No, they are not. But in theory, you will start farming, and you don't really mind if Timber gets ahead because you have the OD, right? You're going to have this 1-to-1 hard counter as the game progresses, so you don't mind if Timber starts with the lead because you're one of the few heroes in Dota that can actually rotate pretty much any point in the game, get a couple hits off, drop the hammer.
Whew. Avalanche being used. Miracle keep himself alive, but Gostic may have another Whirling Death soon if he latches this one with all that stat reduction. Doesn't hit him with the trees. And Miracle actually turning this one around. He's healed up a lot with that Hedress regen, but Gostic, geez, that Whirling Death, that's level 1 Whirling Death, but...
How much damage? That's strength reduction, too. You obviously take away max stats of the main attribute. That is so much damage. They're going to kill MC again. Nice job.
Okay.
This is big because the PA against Ench matchup gets way more PA favored as he grabs levels, and suddenly you're threatening kills instead of vice versa.
Yeah, core Ench you're actually okay against because, you just blink on top. You get bonus attack speed against Untouchable, and then you're also on top, so the impetus damage is just not as scary. So, very good start for Bait right now. And Dendi mid lane, look at the CS. He's having a fantastic time. He's winning the lane so far.
Dendi is still, I would argue, in the first 8 minutes of the game in a one-on-one mid, one of the 3 best players in Dota 2. And if you disagree, feel free to challenge him. But, you know, I watched
challenge him, not you.
He turned Synderen into mincemeat. And most pros...
And Synderen, we all know, is like top 5 mid player.
That's exactly right. I'm never going to let him live that one down. A little bit of harassment on LeBron, but he's going to be just fine. I will say, as the game progresses, Bait do have a hell of a team fight lineup, and they have answers, right? You've got the Ancient Apparition against Oracle, Ench, Wisp. You don't have that just unkillable Tiny factor like you saw in that one game where they won at about 14 minutes.
Yeah, just seeing how this laning stage is panning out and the pressure Bait's putting on, and the fact, like, these heroes, it's a PA. This hero scales incredibly well. Timbersaw, one of those heroes, like, if you have a good start, can have a great game. I'm feeling like Bait have gotten everything they wanted out of the start of this game.
Oh, yeah.
Things that are in a pretty good position for them.
Oh, this is great. And I think King R has just done a great job. He secures top a bit so that Timbersaw can lane by himself. And that's key because IO Tiny, once the Timber's level 3+, you don't really do anything to him anymore. Even if you were somehow able to land a kill, it would require all your mana and half your health. And now they're just going to be able to play as 2. That's a level advantage for your Timber. He's almost 5.
That next Whirling Death, how much damage? Not enough, not next to the trees. Instead, it's a kill down bottom as Pio gets another one.
Yeah, they traded the AA for it, but you're going to take that as long as your PA grabs that last hit.
And importantly, they're trading kills, you know, a 3 position for a 5 position, but they're winning the CS battle. Because often when you're having these kill trades, it's what's more important is who's actually farming in the lane, not getting the kills, and PA with a 25 to 12 CS advantage.
And I love the way that the Timber's itemized up top as well. Going for that Orb of Venom straight into the Soul Ring, max pressure and ability to stay on map. He just wants to stand in this lane and click Miracle, and that's what he's going to continue to do here, not trying to push with the catapult.
These offlaners with their Orb of Venoms, he's been seeing a lot of it.
Yeah. It's so much damage, man. 5 per tick.
Yep. Yeah, every time you get a right click in, that's basically a tiny little extra mini nuke. And Miracle getting bullied under the tower. The Radiant Glyph even being used just to get a bit of extra tower damage in with the Siege Creep. Gossick decides, yeah, 3 points in reactive, still not quite enough to just sit under that tower. Maybe if he had the 4 point.
And the key, I think, with they're applying so much pressure, right? You think about these lanes, all 3 cores can kill. It makes it so easy to play this Shaker, and it makes Nigma's supports play defensively within the lanes. There's no stacking being done. It was a big reason that Wisp Tiny got so out of control in that game we saw yesterday. But Crow can't leave bottom. His Enchantress will just feed.
Current misclicking the Siege Creep there with that nuke, and back mid, here comes again with the Arena, the Spear. He's looking for it, he'll nail it onto the OD, gets the nice kill. King R, you mentioned this guy, it feels like he's been the difference maker in this laning stage.
Oh, for sure. It's the Dream Shaker game. You need at least 2 lanes to kill, and you give me 3, you're having a hell of a time.
Yep. And
it's significantly easier because that Timbersaw matchup up top is so strong. Look at him, he's just hitting the tower. There's nobody in that top lane for NIGMA right now.
And that's the thing when this IO TP is made. We saw this yesterday with the IO Tiny. Anytime there was a gank in these other lanes, GH was the first to TP to try and save them. That was fine because Tiny had a free lane. This game, he's being contested. He has no HP regen. He's being bullied. If that IO leaves, he's got to go back to jungle. He's only level 4.
Yep, the key here, though, is Bait, you've got to continue applying pressure because much like we saw a couple times when OG was running the carry wisp, this Tiny concept's somewhat similar in that you're going to farm to a certain timing and you just go. You got an OD, you got an Oracle, your draft it doesn't really deal with BKBs either, so you want to just keep running at NIGMA. Find these kills, hop onto the squishy backline. You look at this, it's 4 really squishy heroes and a Tiny. So before Tiny's online, there's no real buffer for these backliners. You can just dive forwards with your Mars, with your Timber, with your PA. All of them can go in.
And he's looking to heal himself back up, back at base, and then he's going to go back to mid lane. But while all this is going on, Gostick, kind of just pushing on his own up top, is going to take the T1 tower. Nobody can fight this Timbersaw. They're in full avoid the Timber mode, and that means bottom lane, a lot of action going down as PO going in, looking for this Oracle kill with the right-click damage and the Cold Feet landing. He'll get it. Mind Control wants to take PO, but he can't get the impetus in because PO's just staying nice and close, staying on top of him. Another Cold Feet comes out with the ES Totem stun, and Mind Control's going to be close, gets the last right-click onto King R. Bait looking fantastic here.
Yeah, and definitely coming in as big underdogs in this match. New squad against the TI runner-ups. But so far, they're certainly able to go neck and neck. But if you look at the gold disparity, it's just 1,000 gold, and that's pretty much that top tower. These NIGMA heroes will farm. Miracle and GH in the jungle are going to clear 4 to 5 camps per minute. And, you know, this isn't going to stop. Now the relocate is active, and suddenly it's very easy for NIGMA to make a move. You've got an OD, you Astral anybody poured in, that's a kill.
The one thing, even though it may only be a 1k gold lead though, like seeing some of these core net worths, it's all 3 cores on Bait having a good start, and it feels like NIGMA have some catching up to do on Enchantress and OD.
This is fun. You're going to just trade it
again?
back?
No, Gossick's like, I'll get it later. Not 10 minutes yet. 10-minute one, not giving an insane amount of experience as well. That was something that got reduced a while back with how much Outpost allowed people to snowball. I think they were like, what, 75 experience each, so it's 150 for your team at most.
Yep. It goes up by 200 every 10 minutes, so it's like 150, 350, 550.
Yeah, so it more than doubles for the 20-minute one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like 20 minutes is where, like, okay, we should probably get these. It's quite a lot of if you get both, it's a big XP swing, whereas if you have neither at 10 minutes, it's like, okay, can help the supports more than anything.
You just forgot most of the time, and often it's also just more valuable. The movements take longer because heroes have less itemization. So if you're controlling both outposts, you're probably losing runes or a tower somewhere. It's not as important.
Yep. Well,
Mask of Madness up and running.
And same build we saw Miracle do yesterday. Has the SMY queued up as his next item pickup. No changes there. Now on top of the net worth, so Miracle catching up with all that jungle farm, the stacks that have been there for him. But at the same time, it doesn't feel like Bait are having a bad start by any means. They're just pressuring towers. You know, your Tiny's going to stay in the jungle. Well, we're going to stick together, start pressuring some of these towers. Our PA can go jungle, farm up her item timings.
Yeah, this is going to be tough. NIGMA, you do want to defend your mid tower. You know, we know Dota, you got to keep this alive, but I'm not sure you can team fight into Mars AA right now, especially with Timbersaw nigh unkillable. They do have the hammer to drop.
Importantly, AA not quite level 6 yet, so at least no Ice Blast to worry about.
Dendy's camping that haste.
Yeah.
There it goes.
Gonna go charging in, has the arena. The follow-up damage is there from the Chakram, but doesn't want to go under the tower. We are there with an Astral Save, as well as the Oracle, not level 6, but
this is good because Bait are pressuring with just 3, while their PA is still bottom, and King R's running around. So you're still controlling a lot of the map, and because PA is still bottom, look at this. Maybe we can go set up a kill. There's that haste stream. Yeah, he's a dead MC.
Yep, we get the spear, and Enchantress gets deleted. Gossick, while all this is going on, there's no counter kill. Normally when you see a TP like that, NIGMA should ideally be looking to just jump in, get a counter kill elsewhere because so many heroes show bottom, but they don't have that jump. Who's going to catch?
And not just that, they're playing under vision right now. You see this really nice high ground ward placed earlier. There's a Shaker just standing there to counter initiate, and how does NIGMA open? Walk up
for Avalanche, or Astral,
This draft functions because you can place a Tiny who's just a turret of both damage and survivability between you and the enemies. There's no real initiation factor on this squad.
You can see the vision. Radiant really is just that one ward, but it's such an important ward around that mid lane. Something
so good.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those best ward spots in the game kind of thing. It very commonly gets dewarded, but if you can keep it up for even this amount of time, it's a great use to have.
Top lane.
Yeah, we rotate on in. King R, is he going to get out of this one? Not the case. He was just looking for his level 6 up there. Back in mid, Timber continuing to pressure the tier 1 mid tower.
Going for it. AAL.
Yeah, he might drop the OD Eclipse. He does do so. One more right click, and Weeha gets the kill.
It's just King R getting a little greedy because since he's top, that safety factor middle to counter initiate's not there. NIGMA know this. They immediately go in. That's that OD versus Timber disparity. If you get the open and there's no one nearby, you're going to be able to kill him with a hammer drop. Barely. You know, you need that last shot, but it's unfortunate. They're just getting a bit greedy.
Yeah, and playing mid lane. Not many trees when you're on the other side of the river. There's water behind you, but there's no trees.
Yeah.
So did not have the escape, and now...
This is something where you see, I think more teams are going to look to replicate what OG does in these sorts of scenarios where, you know, think of your PA as like your Ana, your Sumail, right? Play the game 4-on-5, but importantly, just run at the enemy, right? You're strong. Trade heroes, who cares? But force NIGMA to respond with 5 and give your PA free reign of that bottom lane so he can start pressuring that tower by himself. Fight these guys.
They come, they're smoked up. Dandy's here with the arena, is going to hit the spear as well. They need to kill GH first. He's giving Miracle a lot of sustain, but they didn't bring down the IO. No buyback available, or he might want to use that one. But Miracle, he's been ice blasted, but he's still got a decent amount of health. They're going to turn around, bring down the Shaker. The damage just not there from Bait to bring out some of these key core heroes. Gossick going charging with the Timber Chain. They want Miracle still. Dandy, he's got the damage. Can he land a spear or anything? They're actually being countered here as Mind Control rotates in. The impetus damage doing some big nukes as well. Dendy going for the TP out. Miracle, one more right click. They're going to get the kill. Mind Control with that last impetus, and it backfires as Bait just unable to bring down the tanky Tiny. He's so farmed, 6.6k net worth.
Yep.
That Sanj.
They got a bit split. They wanted to get Miracle, but then GH starts channeling Reload. You got to swap over to him.
If they
the AA blast,
GH at the start, maybe it would have been okay, but they did hit Miracle with the AA blast.
Yeah, but then you have to kill the Wisp, and it runs out, and you've got problems. In addition, PA wasn't there for that engagement. I think if you're going to take that sort of fight, like, do it as 5. Like, let PA play independently and just kind of teleport in casually to grab a double kill. But that felt like a little forced. And NIGMA, this is why they're such a tough team to take down, right? We know how important this mid tower is. So do they. And they've done an admirable job of keeping it not just alive. It's still at near 1/3 HP. We're 14 minutes into the game, and they were getting crushed in the laning phase.
And having that tower alive has allowed this Tiny just continue flash farming the jungle. His net worth getting a bit out of control. Can't keep, I mean, it's a PA. You don't, until you have Battle Fury, you just cannot contest. Free Battle Fury with the Tiny. We saw Miracle winning games on Medusa, and it feels like Tiny's the same thing, where you have this AoE farming ability to just farm stacks, and it's back to this 4 Protect 1 Dota for NIGMA.
Yep. And you gotta think that as this game continues, it's gonna favor them. Late into the game, that AA, the Battle Fury PA plus maybe a Deso BKB. He's not gonna get Deso actually because Dendy's gonna grab one, but you know, that third item, that's when things start to turn because you have the BKBs online. But until then, in the mid game, NIGMA have this super fat Tiny and then the OD Oracle factor, you've constant save, and it removes the ability for Bait to put on pressure because Timber can't actually threaten Wii properly.
Yeah, that's... They may think hey, we've got this AA, we can stop the IO heals, but when you can use the Oracle and the OD saves as well, triple save behind your 4 protect 1 strat. We've seen some teams go away from these oracles and these save heroes, but when you're playing with Miracle on your team on these hard carries, it's a pretty good tool to have.
Yeah, for sure. And also, yeah, AA is a counter to the Wisp, but the problem is once you use the AA blast, right, Kuro now has free reign to do as he pleases, and a lot of players feel like the Oracle AA relationship's actually Oracle favored, because if you ult someone that's AA blasted, it'll last long enough for the shatter to dissipate, and then you're going to get the full effect of the healing as the ult pops. In addition, you have cleanse available for the AA cold feet. It makes sense, and it's very difficult now for Bait to play this, because if you don't get the Wisp and the Oracle, and maybe even Weehaw, they're going to be able to save each other.
So ideal scenario for AAs, you want to Ice Blast someone after the Oracle ultimate to make sure that they get 0 healing? Is that how the timing works?
You kind of just want to blow somebody up, but it's just easier said than done. And again, it's because you don't really have an answer necessarily, right? Because you got to use your spells. You can't wait 10 seconds for Kuro to pop his ult before you use yours if you're going to try and actually kill Miracle or the Wisp.
Well, they've got no real answer for Miracle walking up and taking some towers with the IO behind. PA's Battlefield almost done. Leading his team in net worth and out-farming the other 2 NIGMA cores, you can't really expect PA to be even close to a Tiny's farm. It's kind of like, this to me feels like Alchemist when you have this IO Tiny. There's no hero that can farm as fast as it. Maybe if you have a Medusa yourself or something.
And that's the strength of the lineup, right? Like, that's why this hero is good. These heroes that can just get more out of the map than you as the enemy team can replicate.
So you're always going to be an item behind, but the idea for Bait is that they're going to have 3 cores having a decent game that can...
And you can see how the tables turn once Miracle gets farmed enough, and he just plants himself in between him. The 4 NIGMA heroes just behind him. You hit stuff, Miracle. Make him come fight us. Once they open on you, we're going to go get frisky.
And the beauty of having multiple saves is normally against an IO strat, you want to jump the IO, take him out. So someone like PA, who's great at jumping on top of an IO, is good, but there's an OD Astral, there's an Oracle save as well with the False Promise, so you can't overcommit to kill GH. You'll just end up dying. This PA doesn't have a BKB or anything.
And it's just became a very difficult game for Bait to play for the reasons you just stated. PA, he's at a point now where his farm will start to accelerate, not quite as much as Tiny, but he won't be outpaced this quickly. However, he needs a BKB before he can actually play Dota 2 here.
Yeah. It does feel like, from what you're saying before, there's maybe a little bit of a timer, though, for NIGMA. You don't want this game to drag too late. PA, you get enough items, is going to outscale. Mars, Timber, good heroes as well.
In theory, yes. But the thing is that if your Tiny is like 5k net worth ahead and the OD is equal with your enemy cores, things get more complicated. And whenever you're playing, when you're the team with multiple saves and the other team has 0, you're always going to feel more confident taking fights, because Bait need a perfect fight, whereas NIGMA just need to be around. It's much easier for them to win engagements.
Well, NIGMA just going to roll down the bot lane. They take the tier 1 and now just taking a tier 2. So far uncontested, but here comes the smoke rotation from Bait. They're going to run into some of these supports. Kuro's on a bad target to find. Want to take out some of those backline saves. He's a great one to go on first. Dendi, though, he's been completely isolated. Does not have a BKB yet, and does get the spear on the backline. Blink, totem, but he gets the Echo Slam as well. And they've taken out the Tiny. That's Miracle down. They've got this fight now. Ghostic with a great chakram. Going to get a couple in there. No tree to Timber Chain to, though. And it looks like NIGMA may want to look to turn this one. Bait have lost Dendi here. They're going to get the Timber Chain out. Disengaged for now, but they may look to go back in. PO still nearby. He's hiding for now with the blur. Doesn't want to go back in. Mind Control charging forward. He's just not afraid of anything.
I like this call. Just get the hell out of here. You killed Miracle. You got what you came for. Sure, you traded Dendi, but you'll take that. And again, you can see, though, it's the little things that NIGMA do that keep them at this top tier level, right? The fact that you have Kuro running up to place a sentry and ward on the high ground because they feel this smoke coming. They fight around their vision. Sure, you lose Miracle, but that could have been so much worse. More inexperienced team. If you commit a little harder to say Miracle, suddenly you've lost 3, you've lost 4, but they maintain their composure. They kite back, put themselves in a position where suddenly it's the Timber that's overexposed, and you end up trading evenly. So really nice job there. And just bring Miracle back. He's got a death, so good lord.
This is where towers start to melt. This is the Tiny build of choice for Miracle. We saw it last time. This time it looks like he's going to go for the heart instead of the AC, so survivability over more damage. The last game it was... Can you defend high ground against this Tiny build?
You can with ults, but you need the Mars ultimate and you need another great AA blast. And keep in mind, that was without an Astral or Kuro popping his ulti. That's the only reason Miracle dies there.
Well, they want to start poking the next creep wave. It looks like Miracle's going to just plant himself on the high ground. No Echo Slam up just yet. Nice spear attempt, but he doesn't get him to latch on the tree, and now Miracle is going to start hitting the tier 3 tower. Cold Feet not going to be there to deal with this, and Miracle's just going to take a tier 3. There's just no answer. GH is just sitting behind him, buffing him up, and...
Now you've used the Ice Blast, so there's no way you're killing Miracle any longer.
When are these ultimates coming back up? That Echo Slam still not available, and he does get the disarm off, but he may just die for this one. Caustic gets absolutely shredded. The Enchantress getting the last hit, and yeah, Mind Control gets the kill. Meanwhile, Miracle going to get the racks.
The Kuro is just
protection. We saw this before. They can also just kill through the backdoor protection.
And Kuro's just spamming his heal on GH, who takes damage and ignores it, which then heals Miracle for like 500 to 600 to cast.
So, 20-minute racks. Not what Bait were hoping for.
Nope. And it's crazy how limited the mistakes they made were, right? It's what, you gave Tiny, I don't even know if you can argue they were mistakes. It's just NIGMA have a read on their timing, right? You're going high ground, there's no BKBs on the enemy, and they can't kill Miracle.
No BKBs, no ultimates are on cooldown. I mean, maybe if you're Bait, you don't take that fight in the jungle because you want to defend high ground and save your ultimates, but, I mean, they had an okay fight. They killed Tiny. Now we're going to see a similar thing happening in this mid lane, maybe, or we could see NIGMA go back for Roshan. If they can get Aegis, how do you defend at that point? You may just have to give up your base.
I want to point out just a little thing that NIGMA, every time they run this strat on Dire, they're killing that bottom racks. That's where they choose to push because it is the furthest lane from Roshan, thus the most valuable to take out. It sets up for this maneuver as Bait smoke the pit.
They have ignored bottom lane. They're going for the Roche contest. Mind Control stuck in the pit on half health here as Miracle Avalanche Toss combo is there. Pio gets brought down to half health already. Doesn't have the ability to fight this one as Miracle still getting brought very low, gets speared into a tree here. There's the blink! Echo on 4! Ice Blaster following up! The Mars ultimate traps everyone inside as well, but they haven't got any kills here. They just don't have the ability to deal with these saves here. King R's completely blowing his kit here as Oracle does die in the backlines here. Is there any more? Pio, he's the guy you've got to look to. He needs some crits. He needs to go back in. He probably wants GH. As Oracle is down, he can try and get onto GH here. Pio blinks in, goes on the Eye. They've got to bring down the Eye. If they want to kill up Miracle, they get the kill. Now Pio in some trouble with the impetus, his own Mind Control. He's there. He blinks to the creeps. Insta buyback. With the Eye buyback, though, they just can't continue to fight this one. Pio blinks out to his teammate. Nice toss coming in as they're going to look to continue to chase this one. Pio needs another blink out. Gossic's got to stay nearby. They're pinging wherever they want him to go, but NIGMA, they read this. They know it's coming. He blinks instead to the neutrals. And I don't see a way out for Pio here. Yeah, he's being abandoned. Timbersaw says, you're on your own. And that was the Dream Echo Slam.
Yeah, I think the
no one died.
The AA Blast, I think, just missed. Like everybody.
I saw it flying over, but yeah, what?
It was just maybe, I don't know.
Maybe get another look at that one, but for now, Roshan should go uncontested.
The problem is when it's this short-range AA blast, the travel time is deceptively slow, so it looked like they actually just all split.
And the AoE is quite small too.
Yeah, and it needs to land, not for the damage, but just to prevent the massive regen all these heroes are operating. Now there's an Aegis and soon have a hard,
yeah, hard fight.
And you can't really hope for more from Bait for an engagement, right? Like that's the dream, but they just don't have the damage. If you don't 100 to 0 these NIGMA heroes, they're going to be able to keep themselves up.
That's the thing. That Echo Slam was great. It caught 3, and I think even a 4th with like the tether in from Io, but there was still that 5th hero outside of it who can just start throwing those saves, the false promises, and then once the stuns have worn off, there's a defensive Astral.
Let's bring up all the items real fast just to know, like, the way NIGMA run this strategy, right? Look at what their other heroes have purchased. You've got a straight Hurricane Pike, Force Staff, AK, on your, you've got a mech, you've got a pipe. And then everything else, all the damage is on Miracle. This is how they're going to play. They know what the strategy is. It's for Protect 1.
And unfortunately, these BKBs weren't up in time. The PA, if you have a BKB there, you can just play so much more aggressive. You're not afraid of a whole lot. And both Dendi and Pio are just a little bit short.
Yep. They both need, they just need
150 gold. He could sell one of those Wraith Bands. Is he going to do so? It doesn't look like that's the case right now. He's pulled close to the base here as Pio still walking back. He's not even here for the defense just yet. Nice spear. They've got to just delay this push. Use whatever you can to kite. The cold feet, the fishes, the stuns, the halberds, everything you've got. As they are doing a good job just kiting Miracle, but it's so difficult. The second he gets caught by the cold feet, Kuro's there with the Dispel as well.
He's not actually taking damage either, gods. Look at GH. Constantly getting spammed on by Kuro. This is unbelievable healing per second. It cannot touch Miracle. You need to get into the back line.
Insane healing, and they've got the Dispel. They disarm him again. There's the stun. This time Kuro not there with the Dispel. They go on the back line. It's Pio who's tried to catch Kuro, I believe, but he's being kited around. He doesn't get the kill. Now he BKBs, he blinks, and he does manage to take out Kuro. Next, he wants the OD. OD defensive Astra will keep himself alive, but meanwhile, on the front lines, Miracle doing a lot of damage here. Kuro buys back, but there's no way to get back to this fight just yet. They need the detection. They don't have it for Weeha. He stays alive with the invis, and then he blows up the PA, whose BKB got kited. Gothics next to fall, and this could be the end for Bait.
It feels that way. They had an opportunity there. Both Wisp and Kuro were operating. Oh, Kuro had buyback, but Wisp didn't. They just couldn't take him down. And now there's a hard on Miracle, and they're just going to go for the throne. And they played that fight super. If you look at damage done, I'm pretty sure Bait are in the lead. It's just that they aren't finding kills.
Sure. There's just too much sustain on this Dire side. And this is one of those strats. You're in a best of 3, and it does feel like you just don't have answers and counters to it. You kind of just have to look at banning either the Aya or the Tiny in the next game, because this is now 2 games in a row where NIGMA have just destroyed with it. And GG is called. NIGMA claim game 1.
I mean, it's similar, and not just the combination being good, but you go back all the way to TI, right? That series against Secret, where straight up NIGMA just first picked Alchemist. This is the way they love to play. It's the way, if you remember the old OG back in Majors, loved to play. This is a strategy that intelligent teams with high Dota IQ will beat you at because it's easier for them to win. To consistently outplay a team of this caliber for 30 minutes when you're the team that has to make the moves, when you can't make any mistakes, is nigh impossible. They're gonna catch you off guard, suddenly Miracle's unkillable, and they just walk down lanes.
I feel like that's one of the best games we've seen Bait play, because they had some shaky games, they looked a bit lost. That, to me, was they played coordinated, they played as a team. They took good, smart fights, and it's because they were playing such a talented opposition where they couldn't afford any mistakes. So they played better Dota, but it wasn't enough still.
I will say, though, it was really cool watching them play. I think a lot of teams tend to play up or down to the team they're facing's level. It's just something that happens. We don't know why, but they certainly turned it up today. I think that if they can continue to match that pace, it seems like strong lanes and strong roaming, that's where King R is going to shine. You just got to be in a scenario where your win condition is easier than, oh, God, we have to kill the Tiny and we can't.
I mean, their win condition was maybe... It was more difficult than NIGMA's thing, because I think at the end of the day, like, they had a clear idea with their draft. They had strong lanes, but NIGMA's win condition was so simple. Get Miracle farmed, hit buildings with saves behind it. And
it's just really, you can't even comment on it. I'm sure it's like, even in chat, it's just like, oh, what are you supposed to do? You can say like, oh, just kill the Wisp, guys, but it's a lot easier said than done.
Yeah, we talk about every now and then like cheese strats, like, you know, the Meepos, the Brood. That to me is kind of like in that category of cheese strats where it's just like, how do you actually beat this Tiny on the high ground with endless heal?
I'd argue that if you were to strategize against it, you'd pick something very similar to what they just did, right?
you need like an exactly.
You kick Miracle out of lane at level 4, but it's you just had to keep up the pressure. And as you can see, NIGMA were very helpful. They could just bring 5 heroes to mid. They understand the importance of defending this tower. You need to just play better for so much longer, and it's so hard, and we'll see what happens in game 2.
Yeah, it's a good sign that Bait played as well as they did, but unfortunately for them, they had down a game. NIGMA with a fantastic strategy, some good execution, and we're going to hear what the panelists say about game number 1.
Thank you so much, Gothica. We'll see what happens in the second game of the series. Now, we started this series off with Lacoste believing in Bait and saying he talked this morning to some of the team, and there was going to be some brilliant plan.
That was before I saw the draft.
Yes, it's true.
Once the draft finished,
you did say 80-20
towards NIGMA, because this strategy that they were running is, I'm not going to say it's hard to counter, even though they had AA, but they have no high cooldowns, no long cooldowns. They're just going to keep playing fast all the time, even though they lost the top lane. Timbersaw was causing a lot of issues, which gave Earthshaker ability to move to mid lane, and on the bottom lane they got some kills, but they were stacking the jungle for Miracle. And like, if you compare the way PA farms before she gets Battle Fury and Tiny with the free built-in Battle Fury, this is where the huge difference comes from.
All I see is Lacoste putting himself in an unlosable situation.
Yeah, exactly.
that
That's
BA is going to
talking.
have a next level draft, and then by the end of seeing Game 1's draft anyway, saying that it was going to be 80-20 in the favor of NIGMA. You can't go wrong with that.
Win-win. I must say this fight still looked very decent for Bait, and the laning stage looked very decent for Bait as well. It's just there's still this tiny problem that is being backed by a GH IO and a Kuro Oracle, and it's like, how are you ever going to kill that man?
The thing is, you can't fully commit. If you use AA Blast, if you use like Fisher Echo Slam, and you don't get a kill because there's multiple saves once GA gets the mech, MC gets the pipe, you have Astral Imprisonment from OD plus Kuro standing in the back lines ready to use that ulti. Like, you don't have a clear target yet. They deal a lot of damage to this Tiny, but it's just a chip damage.
Yeah.
I think that inherently drafts nowadays have to have a certain level of complexity. You know, like when it comes to Tier 1 Dota, there has to be many things that you need to be able to fulfill. And for me, when I look at this draft of B8, it pretty much does just one or two things. It has hero-to-hero counters. The laning phase matchup, as a result of those hero-to-hero counters, is good. So they were always inherently going to start off with like a bit of an advantage in the laning phase, and then just a whole lot of single target jump. Right, that's about it. Like the AoE damage that you have is off an Earthshaker. That's the like other kind of AoE stuns that you have, but you just watched NIGMA. They just played very, very separated around each other because they knew they had so many saves to be able to work around that eventually somebody was going to have to commit on the side of B8, and then they were always going to be able to save, whether it's with the IO, whether it's with the OD, the Oracle. They had just a lot of different options. And I think NIGMA just inherently, their draft was able to do a lot of different things.
Yes. One thing I dislike about the base draft is having a PA who needs a lot of time to come online, and you have Timbersaw and Mars who want to fight early on. Also, PA was not sure which items to go for after Battle Fury. I saw MKB in the queue, but ended up going for BKB because you need that item to actually be able to use your abilities multiple times in a team fight. But it was like PA, once that BKB is gone, she, I might be wrong, but I think she is the hero who has the lowest intelligence gain in the game against OD. It's just a disaster.
Yeah, you're gonna...
Literally, you're dumb. That's what I'm saying.
But were there any
You're dumb
other...
for picking her, and you're dumb for
No.
being
PA's
her.
dumb. PA's dumb. That's what I'm saying.
Were there any other heroes available, though? Because they saved PO's hero until last, and we talked about that, and they needed, like, this end-all, be-all win condition in that hero, but so many cores were already banned. Like, were there any heroes left in the pool that would be better?
I think they could have gone for Slark, maybe. Steal the stats. You have this Tiny who parks his body in front of your base, tries to hit it. Maybe it could have been better, but they needed some kind of a hero that can fight all the time. I know they were probably thinking about TB. It's PO's one of the most played heroes as well, but it is also Slark. We checked it yesterday.
Yeah. He is a Slark spammer.
Okay.
600, like he basically has twice as many Slark games as any other hero that
But
plays
then why
on
would you
the
give him
account that
Slark
he
this
plays.
game? What was so bad about Slark this game?
I think it is problematic against, it can still be bad against OD, for example. You still have some bursts. I just don't think there was like a whole lot of, because they were, like any hard carry you chose, you're probably going to get outscaled by OD plus Tiny IO. You are still going to have a problem where, like, dude, NIGMA pushed high ground at like 20 minutes. You know,
And it worked. I mean, they weren't stopped.
Yeah, and a hard carry wouldn't obviously solve that issue as well, right?
True.
Like, Leshrac against OD is a common pickup. They could have done that safe lane like they did before in their matchup against, was it the Gambit matchup that they played against? They could have done that. That's traditionally been picked up a lot against OD because you're a high intelligence hero, so you don't take any damage from Insanity's Eclipse. But I think that would have been very much an all-in first 20 minutes of the game sort of lineup. I don't know. There's just a lot of issues that inherently they focused on just like two aspects of the game. That's all their draft was able to do.
Yeah, we talked in the early stages of the draft that it felt very calculated, letting NIGMA draft IO Tiny first, and they probably would have had an answer for it, but they just did not. Let's see what they have planned for game number 2 coming your way very soon.
What keeps you going when all goes to hell? What separates a good player from a champion? How do you overcome the odds? How do you make the impossible? It's a secret.
What will they say about you?
That you don't belong here.
That you're not prepared. That you don't have the skill for it. Or maybe they will say
that you're not human.
That you cannot be stopped.
That you make it look easy.
But no matter what they say, you just have to follow your dream.
Be initiative.
Get mad!
make a comeback.
Trust your teammates.
Control your emotions.
Make the right call.
Don't be afraid to lose, but do everything to win.
So how do you make the impossible? It's a secret for everyone, except for you.
After the draft of the first game between Bait and NIGMA, my panelists said it was 80-20 in favor of NIGMA. What will be done with draft number 2 for this first series of Tug of War Mad Moon for day number 2 of the playoffs. We're going to find out. Lacoste, Cap, something needs to change for Bait, and I am still looking for that plan that you talked about earlier, Lacoste. Like some kind of curveball, perhaps, that Bait can throw to have a chance.
All right, I'm gonna reveal it. They
okay.
wanted to have a gentleman's agreement where no one bans anything and they just random the heroes.
Well,
it seems like NIGMA did not want to play it that way.
All right, and then you think that they would have had a good shot with that lineup?
I was joking.
yeah,
It was then they said
50-50.
said that they would have a higher chances of winning.
All right, well, they didn't do that.
I could just see Kuro just kind of like giving you that like, you know that smile that he does where it looks like he's just kind of humoring somebody?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then no.
Very rare, but it happened.
Like, yeah, that's nice, Dendy. Like, I'm smiling for our friendship that we have, but no.
All right, they are adjusting their draft. They banned out Io in the first phase, which I think needs to go. This strat that NIGMA is running is kind of nasty.
Yeah, it does mean Snapfire makes it all the way through, and NIGMA selects from Nyx Assassin, Snapfire. I guess Nyx Assassin can be considered to be a counter to Snapfire, right? So that's why you would prefer to have the Nyx rather than the Snapfire if you're Bait?
Yes. You have a instant way to stop Snapfire's ultimate.
Yeah.
With Spike Carapace. Very, very good. And more useful than the other support option that I've seen people go for, which is the Silencer. Nyx Assassin's just a lot more valuable of a hero right now. Just some buffs, like the break mechanic really helping Nyx Assassin out once upon a time. Now it's pure damage, and they didn't even nerf the damage of it, really. Like level 1 and level 2, it's basically the same damage, except now it's pure. So he got a significant boost up.
I'm wondering if they're going to go with Tiny as a carry again. I know that the GH does not feel comfortable playing Tiny. Maybe they're one game ahead. It's a good practice for him once again. Like, if you think about GH as a player, like, dude always performs. Like, his performance is always top-notch, but not when he's playing Tiny.
Wow.
Damn.
Harsh. That being said, they did lose with the GH Tiny.
Is that something that he told you? Was that because you said that he wasn't comfortable with it? Has he said something like that?
No, I just
You just
felt it
reading
that
his
way.
mind?
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, I see.
Well, also during the True Sight, he also did not feel comfortable playing the hero.
Fair enough. What are some of our best heroes left here to pair with a Nyx Assassin? There's still a lot of the better 5s out there, like Lich.
Yeah, they have played a lot of Omni Knight as position 5 as well on LeBron. Like the previous game had a lot of saves on the side of NIGMA and kind of no saves on the side of Bait. Do you feel like they should be getting some of those saves? They go for Beastmaster actually. So
oh God, please no!
Why?
Let me just check through my book. Last time I checked, he was 0 and 5
Yeah.
throughout this tournament.
Now that's all that's left is for BA to pick Lifestealer.
All right, he got one win. Now he won one out of 6 games.
Rezo yesterday crushed with
10 seconds remain.
Rezo?
Yeah.
Resolution? Crushing in 2020?
On the Beastmaster yesterday against Gambit. Yeah, it did happen.
Go him.
Go him. So, you know, he's got that one. The Beastmaster got that one win under his belt, but you guys don't like him in this?
Yeah,
like,
what
why
I
not?
feel about Beastmaster is his whole presence is just straight up early game laning stage. He kills your tier 1 tower. That's it.
All right.
I mean, there's, I'm kidding, you know, but still, Vision game from Beastmaster is strong. Killing Roche from that aura also builds into either Vlad's or into Helm of the Dominator, but I feel like he's not as strong as he was before. He just does not have, like, a place in this meta. And, I mean, I don't know. Also, you can pick any kind of Dispel, Omni Knight, Abaddon, and just get rid of that long cooldown ulti.
Dire team bang.
I think it's interesting B8's approach to this game though, doubling down on the vision with both Nyx Assassin and Beastmaster. It makes me think that maybe my initial assumption is actually that they're going to be playing a slower game as a result and just using the vision to be able to stay away from NIGMA, because the last game one was like the opposite approach of that, right? Where they were trying to play very aggressively and getting stymied by the fact that NIGMA was out farming them and defensively posturing at all times, you know, just playing together around their mid tower. They kept that mid tower alive for so long. And it's something that NIGMA in particular has always put a large priority on ever since their Liquid days. God, I just love Snapfire and AR.
Ah.
It is so adorable.
Mortimer looks super cute.
Look at him. Oh, he's a good boy. Oh,
Who's a good boy? Ah.
He's a good boy. For sure. The goodest of boys. Actually, what do you guys think about Tiny without an IO nowadays? As I said, we've seen it a lot on Position 4s being successful for other teams. It is still open to be, well, either a Position 4, 1 or 2 for NIGMA, but do you guys like it? Like, is it first pick material without IO? First 2 pick?
The reason why they first phase it is because it does not reveal anything, because he can be played at multiple roles, and most of the top-tier teams are drafting these heroes. Like, maybe you show your clear position 5, but other than that, you wanna leave enemy team in the dark.
Somebody really likes their clapper.
Yes.
Clockwork and Abaddon, you're talking about cleanses to be able to deal with the Beastmaster ultimate. They deal with easily the best one, and Abaddon, because he has a way to cleanse it off himself as well as other people on a low cooldown. They're going to go for the Timber Saw.
We talked about NIGMA Timber Saw earlier. That's going to probably be a Miracle or mostly Weeha Timber Saw, correct?
Yeah, it's interesting that they were willing to pick it up with already one small counter in the pool, Nyx Assassin. Right? He has a break mechanic. He has Spike Carapace to be able to catch you with all that AoE damage you throw around. And then he's got little things like Mana Burn, a decent amount of burst, I would say.
I wouldn't call Nyx Assassin a counter to Timber Saw, because your stacks still remain, but you can't get the new stacks after he breaks you. And during that duration, I don't think it's enough, unless you're like initiating.
You won't even agree to soft counter, Lacoste? I said a soft counter.
You said soft?
You won't agree to, yeah.
All right, I can agree with soft.
All right, I'm not going to flaccid counter here, you know?
I know you prefer hard, but I'll go with soft.
All right, fair enough. Well, now they've got Witch Doctor, who's a little bit better of a counter.
10 seconds remaining.
One of the biggest things about Timber Saw is just making sure that he has like a terrible laning phase. But again, when NIGMA picks up the Timber Saw, like most of the time it's going to be a mid-timber. Or like at least Weeha's going to be playing it. Sometimes it's Miracle. They've only played, so they had one game. I think it was like sometime in the qualifiers for the recent major. And they had one game of Mind Control Timber Saw. You know the last time that Mind Control played Timber Saw before that?
No.
2015.
Really?
Close. 2016 was the last time that Mind Control played Timber Saw.
Well, I was kidding, but I was close.
Guess what the situation was, okay? It was Dream League. It was Liquid versus Escape. They picked Timber Saw twice. Mind Control played it twice, and they lost to Escape Gaming twice.
I don't even know who that is.
At that point in time, they're just broken.
So what you're saying is it will probably not be Mind Control playing the Timber Saw, but it will be a Weeha Timber Saw.
I mean, they played it recently on Mind Control, so it's an option. But I just feel like I never liked that idea where you kind of like most other teams are playing it off lane, sometimes mid, and then just watching NIGMA, it's like, oh, when they pick it up, it's very likely a 2 or 1, which raises that hero to a farm priority that I don't like.
Ghostic had an amazing game on Timber Saw, first 10, 12 minutes.
Yeah.
But after that, the pure damage from OD and Enchantress just completely shut him down.
I could see a Miracle Timbersaw where they're matching it up against the Beastmaster. I think that's the laning phase that they actually want to be able to have.
So we're saving Dendy's hero last for bait at the moment. They go for the Void. I can't help but think that, you know, in terms of where bait wants to fight, it's going to be a pretty small area that is actually really good for Snapfire if Kuro can get his positioning right, which I'm going to imagine he can. Or Mind Control. He's played Snapfire as well in the previous couple of games.
Okay, they have 2 good heroes to deal with the Lifestealer and like Timbersaw right now. Like a lot of stuns to interrupt his Timber Chain. Also Chronosphere against the Lifestealer, and of course Roar that goes through BKB. I want to see some kind of save
10 seconds
from NIGMA.
remaining.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's like a
5
very
seconds
simple
remaining.
way to be able to, again, because the B8 are just like so single target focused. They pick up a Nyx Assassin, they follow it up with Beastmaster, 2 single target heroes, and then they've got this Void who's going to be focusing 1 person down most of the time. They don't have a whole lot of AoE damage to throw inside that Chronosphere. The best they have is a single target ultimate from Witch Doctor, Death Ward. So if you get another kind of one of those Oracle games, then... And on top of that, if you get actually
10 seconds remaining.
like, I think Timbersaw has a good matchup here. Miracle Lifestealer, Mind Control Timbersaw. Like, Mind Control, I think, can win the matchup against Void, and it obviously wins against Beastmaster.
Yeah, for sure. Timbersaw is going to have okay early game. I just want to see what they're going to pick for last. Shadowfiend.
That's a Shadowfiend for Dendy.
Shadowfiend looked like a garbage hero unless no one is playing it.
Yep. Yeah, and but he, like on the other end, he looks like an absolute god. He makes that hero looks so good. Maybe Dendy can follow in his footsteps. We did hear Kyle say that Dendy is the top 3 mid players when it comes to the first, I think it was said 6 to 8 minutes, top 3 in the world right now. A Shadowfiend is one of those heroes that is defined by those early, the early laning stage. If he can get ahead, that's a good start. Let's see what last. Pick for NIGMA is going to be, they have a lot.
No.
You guys want to save? It's not a save.
Blinking right now. He's trying to decipher this game. What are they well enough against Witch Doctor Void?
Let's see. It's GH time.
Like a Shadowfiend, one of my favorite heroes, and if he gets some good back toss.
Like, what is there?
And they got a Chronosphere. Witch Doctor was on the Nyx Assassin, so they can hunt people down off the Chrono. Do you this game? You ended up the draft previously as 82.
10 more % this game.
10 more.
35.
65, 35. Gateway with Kyle and Gods.
Thank you, Shiver.
It's nothing to do with their draft. This is one of those, I would say, like in all of Dota 2, it's like, because it can go either way, their opponent, based on rune control, the first.
Active 4 positions to go with, and one side, Tiny on the other, and Nick's another hero that likes to pressure. Really an item you're looking to buy because you want to be able to.
It'll be cool with this game. You've got the Beastmaster combination with the Shadow. I think VP used it to great success. And this is a very difficult miracle.
Walked into his tower. He could be in some trouble here. Play him out, help him get back to the tower.
Your bull. It's very worth a toss.
Start making moves.
And very important is going to be both 4 positions, like rotating, and which is to have something else spawn. Like if the SF gets a rune, he's winning the lane. Yeah, anything. A shot is anything to make it.
Activatable Fairy Fire.
I have no idea. What
you get a rune on 5 health. It's like a mini heal.
Sure.
You wanted anything? I'm giving you something.
It was a tree.
What you don't want is anything.
Yeah, just like literally just, there's 2 charges to your bottle.
Okay.
It has to give.
I mean, that gives bottle charges.
Yes. All right, we're. Both carries are playing to benefit NIGMA because they're trialing bottom as in CLR, especially with Uv against the BM.
And Radiant had an observer to protect from these ganks, but with a smoke, GH may be able to find a kill here, but at least scouted the fact GH had a smoke based on how they're positioning. Or ends up not really being wrong as usual. No. I'm just being a dick. An illusion rune picked up by a 4 position.
I mean, you can see though, both 4s are around, where you leave your mid on an island here.
Mid lane is so important, and those runes are so important.
To help your Beastmaster, Nyx is not a very...
Avoid the Impale, the SF not looking to in the single one.
It was really cool by GH though, they don't know for sure if that's real or not, and now he's at
a kill.
That's a TI winning play, right? Go aggressively on Weeha. In reality, before really nice play.
Yeah, as I was saying, the important as GH gets a kill with it there.
Hey, want a haste or an invis rune, but hey, you gotta make.
So
there you
got
go.
a lot out of it. And while NIGMA, I think, I'm not even sure it was needed for that kill, but
I feel like a lot of teams. you really want to, well, you look at OG, it's not just for the laning.
Extra slows. Luckily, Kuro, Lena, a combo as well. I mean, Dendi's been around a while.
The fear aspect is so good. I love how the days after they removed its ability to against a Timbersaw specifically. It's nice to have. We'll see how it. Ends up bottom lane, and importantly, Ghostix just
He's getting denied. Yeah, Ghostix getting nothing being rotated out the lanes, but they're going to stick down bot because they're throwing Ghostix games as if they haven't already done that. The toss to follow it up. LeBron looking for a counter level 2 Maledict, not going to amount to much as his way back to full health.
I will say, and effectively every other team
have been picking it all tournament long. But no, you're right. It's definitely a hero that position. This bottom lane is a bit of a bloodbath right now.
I've seen Ghostix lose mid lane far ahead, and in the mid game, that provides vision to make plays that can just sit. Lanes, right? Easier for them to make moves because you have heroes, even if enemy heroes are up against them, and not
Actually, the 5 position have had a better idea of where the support's king out, trying to get killed. Can't quite do it. Dendi, fortunately, still wants to maybe. He's definitely got the ability to do so over there. Oh, meanwhile, Dendi running into the lane. Ward, he needs a couple more right clicks, doesn't have the damage. And Stendi will get back to the safety of the...
They'll know he has a ward now.
Yeah, and Weeha with a... Weeha also...
Yeah, and in previous, KB was much better against Lifesteal at the time. Now see with a free kill on LeBron, nothing of which talk about a save, right?
Yep. Has not had anywhere near... the farm of Zilla so far.
One debate, but the only one that you really, hey, no one's showing anywhere else on the map.
Finally developed this identity on Miracle as this hard carry. So can't control as much, and then once Miracle...
They had a sentry, they probably know what's up.
Yep, Pistan, King are holding on to the imp down here, I imagine. Yeah, there's 4 heroes around him.
Heroes, though.
Oh,
and if you look bottom, Miracles to move towards mid, already with an armlet Desto. I've been talking to one of my little math, and he's like, guys, Maelstrom's dog.
An engineer, I trust him, Kyle.
Me too.
No, not much. Don't trust Kyle and I when it comes to Dota. As well as maybe trust for him.
Go.
Miracle. But it's already been lost. 3 for 1 in
common to hear against NIGMA, but there when there's like a feel to, you know, a true of Ukrainian Dota, not surprised. And can I just say how blessed we are as a community for that? Because Nenny's one of the goddamn can't, you know, if I were in his shoes, the same Maldic coming out on the Timber. I'm seeing some trouble.
Oh, they're bumped out, but I think that Maldic may do enough damage to Carapace against the Rage, and with the toss in, Miracle double kill for him, and kills up top with some action of his own. Side, just seeing the net worth is where because Miracle, similar to last game, has got Void just not real.
And it's not really base build. Not sure if that's a misclick.
Because I mean, we talked a lot about the one of the most is the most efficient attacks.
That's the kill you've got to go for. You need to get on top of this lead.
Randy. Jukes it, but they still don't have the charge here. Kuro from afar, well, he's already half HP because it's not have the chrono speed for 10 more seconds and 4 position trade.
It's a 4 NIGMA fights this. They're comfortable trading. Else to just kind of force bait away as long as the carry is still free farm.
Yep, Miracle, not even straightforward. His game speed has been
8-0.
That's not every day a carry goes the Void for his lack of supports.
They need to have so much success. Like Miracle's item choices. Previous game, they have this understanding of, okay, what are we really looking for? And if he gets this bait lineup, how do you kill him? He's going to have vision. What?
Yeah.
Where's the
4v1 where they isolate him. Chrono, Nixon, Beastmaster, Raw. The best tools they have is we'll catch a small cheer from the crowd in this top tier 1 tower, getting some map control.
Incredible wards placed, which means completely safely, because if you know your whole team's top, your bottom, you've got towards you.
And yeah, importantly, they have that by a TP to that outpost.
And it shifted here, right? Like, you just have...
Just rages up, gets an easy kill with this S-bomb to initiate. He's got a toss to initiate. Then with that fear, the raises, he's there. I don't think that is going to be enough damage to kill him. Leo has the Chronosphere, but I don't think he can go... Yeah, he's trying to run, but he's still getting fire, and the damage is enough as they won't kill the Lifestealer. He goes... into creep to infest. He's also used his Shadow Amulet to juke around, but he just hasn't coming out. The armlet toggle's there as well.
Mirror play, because if he infest bombs out, he's going to get stied. Just a little longer than you then pops out, you land those kills. But you've got to outplay them. This game's played out. It's just not much Bait can do to make things happen. As you can see, as soon as with double his net worth.
A 5 position of all things. It's a pretty scary, hard position to come back from for them to contest this Roshan. Complete map control now with that minus armor from the Dead Miracle's way. He has almost doubled the
Roche pit. It's going to be an Aegis on top of your lifesteal. This game doesn't get any easier. All of your heroes are going to get shredded by Lifestealer from NIGMA, and it just...
And they have, on paper, some answers with, you know, Beastmaster Roar through the Rage on. It just has not worked out as all, so we'll see that hero that does not like to play again.
And it's just funny, like, I don't know if it was... proper for like 2 weeks now, and they've probably studied that tiny build. It's about utilizing Radiance build, this 10k netting, but because he has 3, he is so powerful, but more important output, but also his survivability, properly positioned and play team fights.
Well, they want that Maldic damage is going to add up. He has got... Resistance is going to stay alive, and now keeps him alive.
And
the barrier.
No ability to match your 2 top.
Yeah, Void's about to hit his vision of Miracle.
It's on Lifestealer plus the Halberd. That is when...
Bro, that's, you know, really something that may be targeted a bit because...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
not until...
So he's got the evasion of the Halberd as well as the disarm. No way Bait can defend this one. And control so tanky with this build of his.
Just like, again, look at it, 6
and they roll. They're not forcing plays. Nobody gets a 2-hero LSA. Does get on the here. Keo completely racks instead of the kills as they get close there to finish off that kill, but they will get the counter kill on the Tiny, who getting very low, does still have the Aegis. He saved, winding up the Requiem, not going to go. Shadowblade is there, so Dendy stays alive. It looks like Like they cancel the Timber Chain, they get, it looks like Bait. They may be holding their own here. The spotting is opening, he's got one. He's looking for Dota with the Life Stealer. Can he do it for the next raid? 6 more seconds, then Miracle. It looks like that's going to be enough to deter, to block the Maledict damage.
Just playing so well. It's just so difficult to pierce this NIGMA lineup. Looks like they're making
DH. Ooh, toss forward, not the toss back. As the Raw, he's too far forward. The Invest trying to give him some HP to survive through this one. Weeha still alive for a little bit longer. Gets the stun out onto LeBron, and Miracle with the Rage able to just get on top of Dendy. Another Shadow Blade is there. This time, though, the avalanche damage is enough.
This is NIGMA we expected to see at the start of the year, firing on all cylinders. Look at that. You know, it just, the way they go, they read these fights, right? I'm not sure how to teach it. I don't think you can. There's just like this uncanny ability of these players to read the fight. They flow in, they flow out. Playing around Miracle, they bounce them out, those 1,000 units. A little overextension from Bait, all of a sudden, Void's left, we're going in. Same way they abuse the Chrono being wasted, all of a sudden Miracle's diving tier 4s. Doesn't matter if he loses Aegis, because he's now full health and mana, and he only had a minute left on it anyway.
It's like a beautiful dance you're describing, where they're, just like you say, going in and out, giving no openings to Bait. Or the openings they give, it's to literally bait them in. It's not really openings, it's playing into NIGMA's hand.
Look at Bait, like they have this ring around the 2 heroes they can't touch, as NIGMA effectively can just stand still because there's a choke point, there's 2 strength heroes, and then the rest of the squad's just watching from behind. It's a natural way. You can see how easy it is. They're sort of flowing in that star formation back and forth, so even if they overextend a bit, it doesn't really matter because it doesn't change the status quo of the fight. Baited aren't any closer to the enemy supports, even if they're closer to their base, because they've just acquired more territory as the cores move up.
And we'll back off for the time being. Things not looking good for Bait at all. Down 15k net worth. Holding the high ground is going to prove immensely difficult, it feels like. And if NIGMA want, they can wait for that next Aegis. The gold difference continuing to increase. Miracle's farm, 16k net worth. Void, less than half of that.
Yep. And they're just going to continue to make these moves. It's consistently targeting on the Witch Doctor and the Nyx, but not too much. You don't want to get mass chronoed. You bait out those big spells. The cores want to save their supports. And if you can take them down, the stuns disappear, which is necessary if you actually want to ever kill Lifestealer or Timber.
Yeah, it just seems like NIGMA wait for that GH opening where you can get that blink toss back. But same time, GH needs to, he's going to force type queue up. I'd say we've seen when he does get that toss back, once or twice he's just died because he's got no escape. So having a force staff will give him his escape post initiation.
We have a little bit of a break. You check out the items real fast. Just to note, it's kind of the same story. Look at this. Rushed Pipe on the Timber, a Force Staff immediately on Kuro, that's a staple, and then the Aether and Yules on Wii, so we can play as far back as possible. Another Force Tune on GH. It's all just about find the kill, re-engage. Find the kill, re-engage.
We're at 23 minutes, and Bait, look at them, they have no neutral items. They only have 2 of their tier 2 items currently equipped, it looks like. Yeah, they haven't even found their last one. Okay, no one holding the Nether Shoal, but yeah, they have this at 23 minutes. They haven't completed all their tier 2 neutrals. Have they got this kill? Yeah.
Wow. All right.
He oversteps. The Caster Curse, as well as Miracle's been playing, he has not been flawless now. They're going to look to turn this one. The Snapfire Cookie is there. The Chain Stun with the Avatos combo. They blow up Dendy, but on the backlines, it's Pio with the Chronosphere. He wants Wii, has Lina. Can he get enough damage? He gets the bash at the end of the Chrono, so he's got that kill. He wants Kuro next. Mind controls Timbersaw, zoning out the rest of the team. They can't really fight into that Timbersaw, but time walking forward is the Void. He wants Kuro, who's not tanky enough to survive against the Void, so they get that kill as well. GH can't blink away because of the Maledict damage. Does Pio have the ability to get this kill? There is going to be a toss away as Void tries to now time walk on after, but he can't. Oh, he does do so, but GH back to safety. I don't think they've got the damage from Mind Control. They do throw a cast here, and they're going to try for this one. He can't Timber Chain. Not with that time dilation. They may actually get this kill as well. Yeah, they've got the Maledict, so Bait, Chakram, zoning them away. No, even with the Maledict, it looks like Pio is just a little bit too afraid to go in. I think he's afraid of GH with that Avatos combo.
But both teams playing this sequence very well.
Yeah. Well, blinks in, GH. What's he looking to do there? Gets the kill on the Witch Doctor.
It's just a shame. Baited, they're not playing bad at all. It just feels like NIGMA have the stronger draft and the easier game plan to execute. Yeah, Miracle makes a misstep there, but again, you can just feel they retreat until they're in a stronger position. They've got vision on the high ground. They're standing on the high ground at a choke point. boom, they strike, they kill Dendi.
Yeah, they take a
hero.
4v5 fight in a way where it felt kind of even or maybe slightly favored for them.
Yep, because you kill Dendi, you kill the damage dealer of the enemy team. Who cares if you've lost Miracle?
Yep. Well, they're going to go for Miracle again. He's being isolated and focused with that roll, but on the backlines, GH gets the Avatos combo, catches out 3 in the Avalanche, and they can't kill off the Lifestealer. Instead, it's Dendi going down once more, forced to buyback. That's going to kind of ruin his farm progression. Void dies as well. They've got no Chronosphere, so without these ultimates, it feels like there's nothing Bait can do. GH in the trees being found there. The Raze is doing some good damage, and 1 or 2 more right clicks here. They've got GH's Tiny. Miracle charging in. Once King R with the Rage, there's nothing you can do against him.
It's just Miracle goes forward. All these NIGMA heroes have these cheap spells, easy damage. When you retreat, once they all come off cooldown, you just do it again. And look at Miracle, man. How are you going to kill this guy? He's got 2,700 HP plus the evasion and the halberd active.
Yep. Well, he takes your axe, and Dendi looking to maybe set something up here. Has got the Requiem, but the Shadowblade wearing off, and now a sentry being planted as well. Toss back, GH. He's been catching these heroes left, right, and center. It's the poor Witch Doctor of LeBron. I feel like we've seen that one a few times. This game has not been too friendly to him. As Dendi will be forced to just Shadowblade away. Sentry gets placed just to make sure he doesn't get on top of NIGMA for a Requiem. The Abyssal Blade, I think catching him by surprise. The Chronosphere is there, but he's got 2 of his teammates in this one as well. Nyx Assassin follows up with an Impale, but Miracle is just way too tanky on the front lines. Both Void and SF go down, no buybacks. Surely GG, and there's the call. Bait have been knocked down to the lower bracket. They are not eliminated, but NIGMA proving to be a bit too strong for them today.
They're playing incredibly clean. They had the better lineups, and I honestly felt like Baited played a better series today than I saw them yesterday. It's just, you're not going to win in these scenarios. You're in a position where to win, you have to consistently outplay, not play even, but play better than one of the best teams in the world. That's a lot to ask from a new squad.
We saw Baited play better Dota today, but with a tougher opponent, it wasn't enough. As for NIGMA, continuing to improve, but they've got Secret up next.
And that has, it's been an interesting relationship. Crow versus Puppey. At TI, it feels like Crow has the edge throughout the DPC circuit. It's almost always been Puppey.
And
we'll see how it comes down.
especially recent form. NIGMA, obviously a lot of disappointment, I think, around, obviously, the DPC. They didn't qualify for either the major or the minor. Meanwhile, Secret cruising their way through to the major. It feels like they were, I mean, they're the best team in the world right now. Undisputed best team in the world.
To be fair, they've had enough time where if you look at Secret, they have an unlimited amount of play styles, it feels, that they're all equally skilled at, right?
Yep.
You can put Zai on a Enigma, a Furion, or the Roamer. He can end up with the last net worth, or he can be on top. It doesn't matter. They're still going to feel comfortable. Enigma's had a lot harder time finding their identity. They've found something that works here. The 4 Protect 1, Miracle on this big hero that gets super far ahead. But you're not going to be able to beat Secret if they know what you're going to do.
Whereas, like you say, with Secret, they can play so many different styles.
Yeah.
That's what's, to me, is going to be scary for NIGMA. Is their one style is going to be tested. And Puppey, he's usually got an idea for...
Exactly. Well, it'll be fun to see. I think it'll be a hell of a lot closer than the matchups we saw earlier this year. But still, anybody's game. It's Dota 2, but I can tell you, Secret, they've watched this. They're going to be prepped. They're going to be ready. I'm really curious to see if they'll let the IO Tiny through. I don't think so, but Puppey is surprised us with something like that before.
You know, Majors coming up, they may want to see if they can beat it. They may have some ideas. That matchup coming up later today. Beta dropped down to the lower bracket, and NIGMA through to versus Team Secret coming up later today.
Yeah, we got a lot of good Dota coming your way with, indeed, NIGMA versus Secret. That's the last series today. But let's first break down that second game of this series and the series as a whole. We knew that it was going to be an uphill battle for Bait. The drafts also spoke to that, and I don't think their randoming heroes would have actually helped them, Lacoste. But I think this plan, compared to previous, definitely was better for them. I mean, they still didn't win, but...
Yeah, it's better, but it's still not enough to take on NIGMA. It was the same strategy they run with just different heroes. Not that much save heal, but again, 4 Protect 1, we're going to have this one hyper carry who's going to park himself in front of your tier 3 tower, keep hitting them. Itemization on Miracle was on point. Armlet into Dessa once again. Cheap items, a lot of damage, Roche potential, tower hitter, and seems like all these small pieces are coming together. And it feels like NIGMA has this like unique play style, but sometimes it's not working. But I feel like right now they're playing really good.
Yeah, I think they've definitely figured some things out. They have expanded and adopted a little bit of what some of the more successful teams from the European region are doing. Meanwhile, B8 on here, PO honestly just looked a bit lost. This is 2 different times now where I've seen the pressure on him in a game, and he does not clutch it. He chokes.
We had a discussion about Gloves build yesterday. It's good on heroes like Naga Siren. You get 2 instead of 2 raid bans, so you have a lot of extra attack speed, pretty cost efficient, 400 gold, 20 attack speed. I don't think that's the item build to go on Faceless Void. It looks okay on the paper, but Faceless Void's not a hero that he keeps fighting all the time. One badly used chrono, you're out of the game for almost 3 minutes.
Yeah, there certainly was at least one badly used Chronosphere from PO in this game.
Yeah.
I think there is something interesting. The Beastmaster versus Lifestealer matchup, traditionally that is Beastmaster is considered a counter to Lifestealer, but I actually think with the Lifestealer changes that have been happening, Beastmaster, who's such a lane dominator, Lifestealer is actually very good because Lifestealer just doesn't really lose his lane very much because of the feast changes, because of how much he's able to just keep himself constantly sustained by that heal. And then on top of that, like when it comes to a lot of these team fights, the way that you're able to provide a small save or reset on a team fight off of Infest, whether it's Miracle himself living and you're like getting 200, 300 HP and then jumping inside of somebody and then jumping out 5 seconds later to be able to fight again around half HP, or if it's being able to jump inside somebody else to give them that boost in HP, that actually is very effective against the single target that Beastmaster needs to be able to utilize to win a fight.
They had the vision advantage because of the Hawk, Nyx Assassin, with Vendetta scouting things out, but they did not utilize that vision. I don't think they have the heroes to play around the better vision that these 2 heroes provide. Also, Beastmaster, you talked about Beastmaster. We said that he won 1 out of the 6 games in the tournament so far. 0, 4, and 0, 5 minutes in. He managed to make a decent comeback, but I think maybe the change we need on him is that like his ulti cannot be dispelled. It's like you pick a bat and you pick Omni Knight, like you just completely counter the hero with a spell that has a 5-6 second cooldown.
Yeah, although in this specific game, there was none of those saves, so there's no excuse for Beastmaster this time around. Other than that, he did have a tough lane. He was tri-lane against. Did you guys like the way that the teams laned their heroes? That we had the aggressive tri-lane for NIGMA, and we had the off-lane duo lane by Bait with the Void Spirit Witch Doctor. Did you guys like that choice?
Witch Doctor did fine against the Timbersaw. He is, as Cap likes to say, a soft counter. Those cast bounces plus the Maledict, like once you get Maledict on you, you can't really just dive on the tower. Also, Shadowfiend was playing well during the mid game, finding that Timbersaw, the raises on him. It's okay, but we can still go back to the way they draft, the way they play with their draft. That's still the issue for B8.
Do you feel like there was at least a rising line? Because Bait is a young team, and I think nobody was expecting them to win the tournament or win this series, I think, going into it. But what you are looking for is potential and growth and seeing if they can adapt and at least do better than what they did previously. Do you guys feel like they did that?
I think there are some individual performances from B8 that make me a little satisfied with where they're starting as a team. For example, I think Dendi actually still looks like a pretty good mid laner when he's on certain comfort heroes. When it comes to like just outplaying people, Dendi still's got it. I think another man right there on the screen, I think LeBron is still looking quite good as a 5 position. It is just a little hard to look good, though, when you're losing so many games.
Yeah,
I still think
it's tough.
Playing well.
He's been on like tier 2.5 teams for quite some time, mostly playing in the CIS stacks, but those stacks/teams were not winning. So as you said, it's kind of hard to look good. but he definitely has the skill, and he talks a lot. He has some pretty nice ideas about how the game should be played in general, and I wanted to see him succeed.
Well, we have a chance to perhaps see him succeed in the next series, because this one, he did not succeed. Next series is going to be Bait again, this time up against Gambit. Again, we saw them in a best-of-1 yesterday that determined seeding for these teams, but both being in the lower bracket, they meet up once again. And it should be, I think, we are going to see a more even game this time around compared to the best-of-1 we saw yesterday. Would you guys agree?
Bait, they won the laning stage against Gambit yesterday.
Yeah.
It was just some miscommunication, a little bit of inexperience, I'd say, but it's going to be easier matchup than against NIGMA for sure.
Yeah. All right, well, we're going to find out how that matchup is going to go. We're going to take a quick break, but when we're back, it is Bait versus Gambit.
Tournament here in Kiev, and today I'm going to be looking at or checking out some of my old tweets, guessing the missing words and their context. So first up, we have WoW Classic is worse than blank and heroin. And I remember this tweet is pretty recent actually. It was right when the WoW Classic got released after TI and everybody was on the hype train. And I said WoW Classic is worse than Fortnite and heroin because I remember on the news, they were like all the news was talking about how and I don't remember it at all. I'm more of a Beyonce girl. This must have been a reply to somebody or something. I don't know when I said that, but I'm not surprised. I'm not really a Beyonce fan, but ironically, I do assume that character sometimes. Okay, here's the video. This is a signing session at 17 today. I will not sign blank, don't be weird, and no hugs. I believe I said salt shakers. Sometimes I have people that bring me to autograph signings. They're always bringing me packets of salt, salt shakers, giant. Next up is I dreamt I was a Luna who used Morphling ult on a Terrorblade and was trying to kill Blank, who was playing Razor. Too much Dota. I remember this tweet. I think it was at a tournament. It was Kuroki who was playing Razor. I was trying to kill him. Correct. Here's a tweet from No-Tail. No-Tail said, let's see if we can top the looks from last year. And I responded, depends if you shaved your Blank. And that was obviously his mustache. He's got a pretty gnarly mustache when he tries to grow it. And our last tweet says, even Blank has a bad season. And I actually think I'm talking about a TV show here. And I believe it's actually one of my favorite TV shows, The Wire. So even The Wire has a bad season, I believe I said, which is season 2, the one where they're at the docks initially. And it starts off a little slow and eventually, you learn to love the characters and all that, but it was a big shift from season 1 where it was all about gangsters and crime and undercover cops and et cetera, et cetera. So that's the end. I think I nailed it. I think I just got every single one right. So hope you guys enjoyed and thanks for watching.
What keeps you going when all goes to hell? What separates a good player from a champion? How do you overcome the odds? How do you make the impossible? It's a secret.
What will they say about you?
That you don't belong here.
That you're not prepared.
That you don't have the skill for it. Or maybe they will say
That you're not human.
That you cannot be stopped.
That you make it look easy.
But no matter what they say, you just have to follow your dream.
Be initiative.
Get mad!
make a comeback.
Trust your teammates.
Control your emotions.
Make the right call.
Don't be afraid to lose, but do everything to win.
So how do you make the impossible? It's a secret for everyone, except for you.
Yeah, will this be the comeback for Bait? Because that is what it needs to happen. They need to make a comeback in order to actually keep their tournament lives alive. Welcome back. Tug of War, Matt Moon by WePlay, and we've got ourselves Gambit versus Bait. It is our first elimination match in the playoffs, and I'm joined by Gods and Kyle. Guys, we have just witnessed Bait losing to get to this point, losing to get to the elimination match, and they did not look that good. We already saw them lose against Gambit yesterday. What can they do to stage that comeback, Kyle?
I'd like to see them have a more easily executable game plan for the first 10 minutes. I think that if this team gets to a point where they're all comfortable, they're going to be fine. But if you look at that previous game, both Void, or Pio and Ghostic are having bad games. LeBron's on a Witch Doctor that's underleveled. He can't really have game impact. So it's just Dendy and Nyx, really, that can get things done. And I just want to have them just stabilize, keep the game even, because they really can go toe-to-toe with these teams.
They can. They've already proven that they have what it takes, but they proved it against Infamous, and that's a different opponent, Gods.
It is, and I think this is where we've seen Bait struggle is against that next upper echelon of teams. And I think Gambit is close to that. They're, in that top 3 CIS category next to VP and Na'Vi, maybe slightly below them, being at the minor, but Bait haven't quite taken to the next level. They're a completely new team. Supposedly they were meant to, their initial roster they were practicing and scrimming with was with a different carry player, so Pio was brought in kind of recently, so there is going to be some growing pains. I think also, some of the players they have aren't necessarily considered the most elite players in their role, but...
Yeah, but I want to defend Dendy a bit, because I'm seeing him get flamed. People are like, oh, why is this guy tired? Are you guys crazy? He's still playing very well. It's a new team, and it's not really even a skill disparity I see. It's just Dota IQ and strategic development. You can't expect a brand new team with effectively a stand-in to come up against these teams that have been playing together for literally years and, outplay them? Like, are you guys nuts?
They might just be. I don't think Dendy is nuts for making a team and still having that competitive play. Yeah. And the fact that he is able to just make a team and play at this level, that's better than most people could do already.
There are very few people in just, not even esports, but just in the history of sport that win out on top at their peak. And the reason for that is because the people that traditionally win championships have an insatiable hunger to continue to win. And that's something that should be considered admirable, not silly. And I personally love that that Denny's still playing, and I think that the team has a lot of potential. I hope that in this match, they just don't get to a point like we saw in both of those games against NIGMA, where it felt like at 20 minutes, there's nothing they could have possibly done to win the game. They were hoping NIGMA would lose it, and I just want to see them with the opportunity to get things done.
Well, if they have the opportunity to get things done, it means that these guys would not have the opportunity to get things done. And I think Gambit, as well, has been playing really well. We saw them a lot yesterday. They lost the Virtus Pro, which got them into the lower bracket, but Gods, it was you who pointed out they had played 3 series in a row then, so there is no, like, obviously it would be better to win. I'm not saying that it was completely the Fatigue's fault, but we didn't see them have their A game yesterday, but they will definitely bring it today.
Yeah, and they, before that 2-0 loss against VP where they were outclassed, out-strategized, they crushed aggressive mode. So with preparation, I feel like they come into this series as heavy favorites.
Heavy favorites against the squad that is taking the stage right now. Fate versus Gambit, best of 3. So they did face yesterday in a best of 1. How much can we learn from that? Or rather, no, let me rephrase it. How much did these teams learn from each other in a best of 1? Can you learn a lot from that?
Maybe something. It's like, it's kind of just like you see a single draft. Like, you know, in the best of 3, often you go from game 1 to game 2 and you make those small tweaks and you figure out, okay, you know, it's like you versus NIGMA and they do this IO Tiny. Now you understand, okay, that's one of their core go-to strats. So I think you get an idea of which heroes they want to prioritize, what strats they want to go for, but ultimately, since yesterday, a lot's changed. Gambit's played a lot more series since that best of 1 and maybe have changed what they want to prioritize themselves.
It could be.
I'm just loving the show thus far. I think this is something I'd like to see more of. I feel like
I know this is like I would love to see more of.
As viewers, we sometimes, you know, we think about these players as just like they're in-game characters. We kind of forget that, you know, they're just human beings too, and it's nice to get a little word in with them before the series ends because, you know, right now, the series hasn't started yet. Both teams are full of hope and confidence. Afterwards, somebody just lost. I don't want to hear from them then. It's just sad.
All right.
Well, I like seeing teams get eliminated, Kyle.
Did you
see?
Elimination games are great.
There's this clip, because like Snoop Dogg's in esports now, and his team lost.
Yeah.
And they go over to interview him. And he says what every player that's ever lost has wanted to say, which was, hell no, I ain't happy. We lost. It sucks. And like, that's really all there is to say.
Well,
everything else is just fluff.
Well, we're seeing Dendy get a massive cheer. I have the amount of Na'Vi hoodies I have seen today, by the way, is insane. People getting Na'Vi like black light up, yellow tattoo things on their faces as well. I want to just quickly touch back on that because I like to hear teams before their match, but I actually really appreciate the quote-unquote exit interviews as well. That's an important, like, it sucks, yes, and that's an important side of the story to tell.
I would agree.
Also, I mean, that's partly my job, so, you know, I find my job important. A little
pretty cool jobs.
And as the scene grows and we mature as an industry, I think it'll become the norm. But the thing about Dota specifically is that, you know, the players have all the power, and the players don't really like loser interviews.
I'm sorry, the players don't like interviews, period. They just want to play Dota. That's why they came here. That's why they're here. Playing Dota, it's in their blood. That's their, like, if they didn't think like that, they wouldn't be on this stage right here.
Correct.
They just need to learn a little bit media because we love these players. We want to see more of the human side of them. You know, rather than just the in-game side.
I want to see them playing Dota 10 years from now, and in order for that to happen, you know, we got to build up some star players. They got to do some interviews because that's how the scene lasts, so that we have Dota 10 years.
We got to see them laugh. We got to see them cry. We got to see everything.
But here's the thing: there's just no incentive for these players because at the end of the day, you want to win. That's the goal.
True.
And sorry, but most people, look, PPD, myself, like, we've been doing this for like 10, 15 years, all right? We're used to the internet saying stuff that we just go, yeah, I mean, yeah, we sucked, we lost, cool, guys, like, and just move on, right? But a lot of these newer guys, it's difficult to do interviews, especially, God forbid you say anything slightly controversial, like, oh, we should have lost, we thought we were playing better, blah, blah, blah. You're just going to get murdered on the internet. People, these fans come out of nowhere and start ragging on you for anything, when that's what we're hoping for. We complain that people only give safe answers, and we attack people for showing a little bit of character. It's like, come on. What do you expect?
Obviously a very, tough topic for you, at least, one that you get very heated about, and I hear you compare yourself to PPD in that topic, and having some question marks with that, but I do want to focus on this matchup a little bit. We are going to hear from the players. Well, unfortunately, we don't speak Ukrainian, so we can't really hear from them right now, but I know that we'll, for example, hear from NIGMA and Secret later today, so we'll have some of that. And I think that everybody with you does also indeed want to hear more from the players. And maybe at some point, the scene will be more pressuring players to talk, because like you said, there's no incentive right now.
It just has to get to a point where the power rests more with tournaments and production. But right now, end of the day, it's just not the case.
Any thoughts on it, Gods? Let me go to the matchup.
I was just actually thinking in my head, like, when was the last time Miracle did an interview? He's one of the most famous Dota players in the world.
He does winners interviews, as in if they win the whole tournament, but only then. There's a couple of players that I do not get to talk to unless interview, and even what was it, the Major? Nisha doesn't like to do interviews. He never has. He can, but he doesn't want to. We know he can speak English.
I mean, if you think about like LeBron James, Tom Brady, these guys have to do interviews. That's the job.
Yeah.
I think it
comes to the territory sometimes.
It's a difference in expectations, right? And it's just incentive. Blah, blah. We could talk about this till we were blue in the face. I also want to just say I'm not trying to attack the players here, because again, I played Dota for a long time. Players don't really like giving interviews. I remember getting flamed because I was always doing the ones for complexity. It's because they wouldn't. They want. Kyle will do it, and I feel like if you're the captain of a team, and that's why you see even Puppy do the Secret for a lot, it's like kind of your responsibility. If your team doesn't want to do something,
you're the star of the team. It kind of also too, I think.
You should not ask people to do something you're unwilling to do. That's the antithesis of.
I will say straight up, the reason that the scene is like that, where we don't see too many people do interviews, why would you... Because doing interviews ultimately builds your brand, right? You build up your personality, you build up your brand. Why would you want to build up your brand if you're thinking you're going to win TI and be set for life anyway? So rather than talking, they just want to play Dota, and they don't care about anything else other than winning the international, for which you don't need to do interviews to do that. So, hey, Bait Gambit. Interesting series.
Interesting as well. The two team names kind of mean the same thing if you think about it. Like to run a Gambit and then like to bait somebody. It's like sort of the same thing.
Oh, no, is a Gambit of sorts?
A bait is a Gambit, but a Gambit is not a bait.
Could be.
It's like the square is a rectangle, but a rectangle is not a square.
Yeah.
All right. Sure.
Yes. No, it's exactly that. Because a Gambit can be a bait, but a bait is not necessarily a Gambit.
He went to school in North America, so.
Fair. Okay.
Got to be. Speak slower with Kyle.
Sorry.
You really learn a lot in Australia. My favorite thing I know about Australia is the expression, well, we're not here to fuck spiders, which is just to say, if you ask somebody, what are you doing here? Well, that's the response. It's great.
Factual, yeah.
Do you ever use it in a conversation, Gods?
No.
No.
That's a more recent one. That's not really it's like one of those phrases that people are trying to make an Australian say.
Of course. It's a great thing.
That one didn't exist before like a year ago.
But
it's a
good
fresh
one. What typically Australian sentence do you use in a conversation?
Less sentences, more, I guess, certain words to describe things. I don't know. Like, people get confused when I talk about the boot, like the boot of a car.
The boot.
The boot. Yeah. In America, they're like, "What's the boot?"
It's the it's the trunk. But I would not bat an eye. I would instantly assume it's the boot.
Yeah. The boot.
I think you used it enough for me to at least know what it means anyway.
Rubbish. That's the people in America use trash.
Yeah.
Rubbish.
Rubbish is the same as the UK as well.
Yeah. Rubbish is a much better word than trash.
I agree. Rolls off the tongue.
Yep.
Also, you're not trash at Dota, you're rubbish. I think that's more accurate in terms of God.
It sounds nicer.
The classy.
Yeah, it's the classy.
Yep.
Why are you so trash? Why are you rubbish?
Yeah, that's why I think English people enjoy insulting each other so much, because it doesn't just sound great, but they have all these great words. Yeah.